Good. Welcome to Nerd Church, everybody. Thanks to Katie for the mountain of snacks. We are 3 of 4 players right now, but soon we'll have all 4 on this Juneteenth session. And while we wait for our drow to join us, we're going to do a flashback to when Podham took a little time to step aside and have a conversation with Professor Sendak back at the Maib Sahir. Podham, I think you find Professor Sendak back at his office the afternoon, or the late afternoon before your departure the following day. And he appears to be grading papers.
Professor, I was wondering if I could have a moment of your time.
He kind of takes a deep breath, finishes the paper that he's working on, sets his pen aside and looks up, and he says, honestly, any excuse to escape the vapid writing of these undergrads would be really welcome. Have a seat, please.
I understand. I had some research assistants at times, and well, let's just say that they weren't able to keep up.
It's staggering at times. They'll let literally anyone in here.
Well, ta-da. Anyway, I did come with a purpose. I don't know if you recall, I'm one of the adventurers that was here. I was witness to the fight.
Yes.
Anyway,
You've all caused quite a stir around here. I'm well aware. My memory hasn't faded that much. It's been a couple hours since you saved the entire university from a fire elemental.
Oh yeah. Oh, that little thing.
And renamed a student, by the way.
Yes, which he was also central to.
There's always just so much going on in my brain. I forget the events that may have happened just earlier today.
Fair enough. What can I do for you, Master Rocknum?
Well, Podham will pull the map of the natural formation that he had mapped out, and he'll just pull it out and be like, I just wonder what you would make of this, and he'll unfurl it.
You know, I asked some people about that too. When we were there.
My dragonborn friend may have brought this up to you.
Yes. I was fascinated to hear about this potential discovery of yours, and in fact, I'm very glad that you came to visit me, because as soon as I finish up the administrative requirements of my position, I have already informed my superiors that I will be taking a sabbatical to head out and visit this formation in person. I need to see it with my own eyes.
Well, I would be happy to share this very, very accurate map that I made of this formation, but there seems to be an intelligence here that I am not quite keen to, that I haven't studied. It seems to, I don't know if I were to say it has a spiritual aspect to it.
Well, what I can tell you is this. I've made the study of divine magics my life's work, and I fully recognize the irony of this, because, as I'm sure you and every small child is aware, the gods are not present on our plane of existence. And though I am well aware of this, I still cannot or would not doubt the existence at some time of a pantheon. The records are too obvious to be merely constructions of the humanoid mind. And in particular, there are schools of magic or types of magical energy that are simply too distinct from others to be defined in the same way. We believe, myself and many of my colleagues, that these types of magic were, whether intentionally or unintentionally, abandoned here by the gods when they were either destroyed or departed, that some essential essence of the gods was shorn from them and left behind here on Tellus. Again, we don't know if the gods are dead or if they just abandoned us, but when they left Tellus, they left something behind. Now, this is completely distinct, as I say, from much of the magic that we are more closely familiar with and that most people can tap into. Natural magic that, of course, has been amplified in the absence of the gods who used to control and channel it. The energy of the wild, as the Druids might call it. And then more arcane forms of magic that are in, I would guess, your purview, as you appear to be a man of science.
If I were to venture a guess at what this formation is, just from mapping it out and just applying the knowledge of things that I have, I felt like it was an antenna of a focus of some sort, to channel energy.
Well, I mean, that seems as likely as other possibilities based on the story your friend told me. The visitation by what seemed to be spirits of some kind, a channel or a magical focus. I'll be honest, my hypothesis leaned towards something similar but different. Not an antenna so much as a bridge or pathway, perhaps to a plane beyond where the souls of the departed reside, or perhaps the souls of this yet to be born. We know that although some untethered souls, or various forms of undead, ghosts, banshees, etc., certainly wander Tellus, that most souls of the departed go somewhere. And records tell us, the holy texts tell us that the gods used to guide those souls to an afterlife in line with their faith and the way that they chose to live their lives. But with the departure of the gods, frankly, the afterlife is ambiguous. No one really knows what happens to those that die. But if your friend, and you, I assume, really encountered hundreds or perhaps more souls separated from a body, one could speculate that those souls were visiting from whatever that afterlife is. It's unlikely that many untethered souls were just floating about and drawn to an antenna. Although certainly possible, I can't discount the idea.
what do you think would happen if we were to apply some power
Well,
to this?
without being on hand to look at the material itself that this construct is made of, and perhaps performing some experiments, it's hard to say. But if you, well, let me ask you a question in return. What did you do? Did you do anything to create the result that you and your dragonborn friend described? Did you just wander into this grove of stone pillars and suddenly you were surrounded by the souls of the departed?
Well, so I guess I remember seeing little floating things, but I guess I passed them off as insects, or I didn't have an experience with a celestial being. I saw the formation and was able to map it out, and then before we left that area, my dragonborn friend and I went to explore. And while I was there, I just kind of gained an understanding of that this was clearly, well, as I had said, it either receives or sends signals of some sort, is what it just logically seemed like to me. But farther than that, I knew that there were questions that I had, and I was pointed in your direction.
Alex, I'll just remind you above the table that the other thing that really struck Potham about this map once he had drawn it, the map of that, which pictures this arrangement of pillars from above, right? Because that's how you drew this out, is as if
right.
It's like from a bird's eye view. And what struck Potham as really remarkable at the time was that he has seen this pattern before.
That's right.
The time that he saw it was in some of his early experiments, where you were essentially looking at the interior of one of your batteries before you'd shielded it, and for a moment felt like you were peering through almost a pinhole in space, and on the other side of that pinhole you saw a sky full of stars that were not the pattern of the constellations of Tellus, and a part of that starscape that you saw through that pinhole in the fabric of reality matches in your mind this overhead view.
And I will, to save time, share that information with him. I will just open up and show him my research. I will show him my batteries, and a small demonstration of what they can do. And explain that. I will explain the wizard that we came across and his experiments with my technology, and just lay it all out on the table and say, like, this is where I'm at, and I don't know, this is strange territory for me because I don't know what to make of it all. And I'm left wanting more.
Yeah.
Awkward, because I'm not usually in this sort of a situation.
So he is really fascinated by this and spends a lot of time. So this goes from being like a 30-minute, I'm going to stop by the office and chat with this guy, to the two of you get sort of swept up in a very robust intellectual conversation. At a certain point, he drags you down to the equivalent of like a private lab of his. And it's not a lab like yours, like it's not full of technical stuff. It's actually much more like a private chapel.
Dr. Jones's office.
What? Who?
You call him Dr. Jones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got those kind of vibes. But like, this is a guy who studies divine magics, right? So he has a variety of little shrines. He's got like a section of floor that is covered in very fine sand that has like patterns drawn in it, that he's drawn by hand with little stones laid around. There's incense
I want to
burning.
go there.
Yeah, it's very like Eastern spa
Yeah,
kind of vibes. But when he gets in there, he's placing your battery in different things, and he's what sounds like praying or chanting or doing different things. He's waving like a what looks like a horse tail or ox tail over your batteries at one point, rolling chicken bones in the vicinity of your batteries. He's doing all kinds of things that to you look crazy.
I feel like Potom is kind of like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I think this is stuff that would make Potom very uncomfortable at first, until
that's fragile.
until you start to recognize, because you have a very advanced intellect at this point, I think you start to recognize that what he is doing, though it is a type of science that you don't understand or recognize, you start to recognize a very intentional scientific method in his approach. You
Sure.
don't know what the tests are that he's doing. It'd be like if I wandered into a chemistry lab and some, advanced PhD in chemistry was like doing a bunch of experiments with beakers and dropping solutions onto something. And I'm like, it looks all mysterious to me. But eventually,
You're Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, that's right. Eventually, you start to see like, oh, there's a method here to this. And after about 2 hours of this and being bombarded with questions by him, he gets a sort of half bemused and half shocked look on his face. Like it looks like he's just had some preconceptions shattered. And he slumps heavily down into what looks like a long abused armchair in the corner of this chapel. And he leans forward and puts his head in his hands for long enough that Potom gets a little uncomfortable and you probably like clear your throat. And he looks up at you wide-eyed and he says, I don't think you have any idea what you've created here.
Oh, well, no, I have a clear, no, I have a very clear understanding of what this is and what it does.
No, you don't. Not only, no. And now he's getting really animated and he stands up and he starts sort of like fast pacing back and forth around the room. And he's kind of talking to you now, but he's also not. And he's like, no, not only have you proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, you've provided physical, tangible evidence of an afterlife, but you have drilled a hole through the fabric of reality to the afterlife. There are souls on the other side of this hole. Every one of these batteries is a portal to the other side. And you are allowing passage through back to our realm for deceased souls. They are powering these devices. You didn't invent an energy, you didn't create a power source, you pierced the veil. And departed souls are coming back and powering these devices. Temporarily, I grant you, they can't stay for long, it seems, or perhaps they don't wish to, but this changes everything that we thought.
Oh, okay. I think the Potom has now slumped down into the armchair.
Yeah.
has jumped up into the armchair, and it's just a little bit flabbergasted. As I didn't think that I was using people.
Well, let me be clear. There's nothing about your design that suggests domination or forced action, or you're not. Well, and also these aren't people. They're, well,
They were.
Yes, they were. I have a hypothesis, and I have no proof of this. And in fact, the hypothesis wouldn't even be possible if we hadn't just met and talked about and discovered what we've just discovered. But I have long wondered if, at the departure of the gods, or the destruction of them, what happened to the afterlives that they oversaw. Hey, buddy. The golden fields that the goddess Shantae was supposedly presiding over, where the souls of those who loved and supported the natural world and raised crops and were guardians of nature, that were supposed to wander these endlessly lush fields, the halls of champions of the gods of war, the Elysium, and all the afterlives that were managed and overseen by these gods. When the gods ended or left, I'd always questioned what happened to those afterlives. Could they maintain? Did they have momentum? Did the souls stay in those blessed places, or did they dissolve with the departure of the deities that created them? And now I suspect that perhaps they didn't. That when all of the various afterlives stopped being, these trillions of souls that have been exploring their own eternal reward were suddenly cast into some sort of nothingness, a purgatory, and have just been wandering, aimless, purposeless, hungry for stimulation. You know, the infinite is torment if you have nothing to do, nothing to see, nothing to interact with. So perhaps
stimulate them?
Perhaps your portal just offers them an opportunity to engage with something real again, something with color, and gives them something to do and act upon that they never have. So my hypothesis is that you're not forcing them to do anything, but you're giving them access in the tiniest way to something that feels.
Helping.
And they're pouring themselves into
helping them?
Well, you're at the very least entertaining them.
Okay. With this understanding, is there a place where, for the moment, let's just assume that the batteries are being powered by souls that in nature are good. And not that I believe that there are good and evil. I think that there are just people that do either good or bad things, and we're all capable of both. But there are some that seem to be aligned more to doing bad things. And in a religious study, I imagine that bad people go to a certain place. The reason why I'm asking is I'm not alone in using my technology. It was developed while working for someone else, and I stole it away to keep it from being used maliciously. But I have discovered that the research has continued in my absence.
Mm.
And I'm afraid that that it could be developed for world-changing power, because this is world-changing power.
I can see that. Well, again, this is all brand new and completely hypothetical. I've never really considered this until an hour ago. But I can imagine that if you were to take a different approach to harnessing the power that these souls are providing, if that is what's happening, if you were to be more conscripting these souls, trapping them here, enslaving them in a device like this, you would enrage them and probably harness or access a great deal more power, perhaps an exponentially higher power output than what your current design allows. It would be deeply immoral to do so. But if, as you say, others with a different ethical code than you are experimenting with this technology, that would be my most significant concern. A soul trapped in that sort of torment and forced to do terrible things. Well, you ever had demons? Because that's how you get demons.
Along those same lines, though, do you believe that there is a way that we could achieve the same result, but be working, not trapping, but be working with spirits?
Well, again, we would need to do some experimentation. We have only limited understanding of how much consciousness and sapience these departed souls retain. Again, our guess is that it matters a great deal upon their level of will in their life, and how much of their intellect is retained. Many souls are deteriorated. We see this even with ghosts that haunt the world. After enough years, their minds start to fade, and they become more like a wild creature, or perhaps even just a force of nature, than retaining elements of their past self. But those who had significant forces of will in life are sometimes able to retain much of their personality, even speak, reference, and remember new occurrences. So it's not ridiculous to think that certain souls, if they imbued one of your devices, could be persuaded to stay, that that they might wish to remain and operate in a consistent way. But I would imagine those souls are rare.
Mm. Okay. All right. Well, that is a lot. When is your sabbatical again?
I will need at least a week to wrap up the semester and
Well,
put
that's
my
fine.
affairs in order.
I mean, we've been tasked with heading into the wound, and so I got a job. How about I leave you with my map?
Please.
But I can't leave you with that battery.
Fair.
I'm sorry. It is sensitive information. And Professor, you have intrigued me and my mind, but I don't leave my technology laying around any longer. You can understand that sensitive information.
Very much so. This
But
this is exciting, and also this information, what you and I just talked about, you need to be aware. Again, you're a man of science and not of faith. And though I don't consider myself a man of faith, I study the faiths of this world. You need to be aware, to be very cautious, because what we have just said to each other could and almost certainly would start not debates but wars in this world.
That is what I came to this side of the world to try to, well, first run and hide this technology, but then also collect to mop up the pieces of the leak of my technology. And it seems that what I thought was just one thread turns out to be an entire sweater's worth of, for a poor metaphor. I have simply just started, and that I mean, there might be experiments with this technology happening. There are experiments with this technology happening, and I think at this point we need to just start to prepare for that world change. I don't know if I'll be able to stop it.
To be clear, my small gnomish colleague, I wasn't simply referring to the power of your technology, though it is significant. I'm talking about the metaphysical discovery that all of the known afterlives may be diminished or destroyed, and that everything that the major remaining religions in this world believe is patently untrue. Can you even begin to imagine politically what the ruler of the Elden Empire, who seems to be propping himself up as pre-divine, would do with this information, with physical evidence that the gods are truly gone and that all the afterlives that the elven churches and other religious figures in this empire cling to are patently false? This is the most significant cultural and religious discovery in the history of the Elden Empire and perhaps of Tellus. So yes, your technology
not even just a sweater. We're talking about the entire sheep farm.
Yes, I can't undersell this. I want to live the rest of my life So I'm not going to talk about this to anyone. And I strongly encourage you to also not do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, that's. I try not to talk about. I try not to talk about this power, what I call my technology, to anyone. It's select few, and because you're a learned man, is why I trusted you with this information.
Yeah, you should
but it,
not have done that. That was deeply unwise, and it worked out for you because I hate the government and all of the religious establishments in the empire. So I guess good guess, but really risky because yes, uh, the risk is immense. There's one last thing that I need to say to you, which is uh, based on these tests, almost certainly the rock formations that you found are strangely an ancient, perhaps, version of what lives inside your batteries. Uh, it seems to me that they create channel, focus, whatever you want to call it, that they create a thinning of the veil in that space. And
it's a giant battery.
perhaps, but it from what you've described, it sounds much more like if you imagine the veil as fabric, your batteries jab a hole in the fabric like a needle through a scarf, whereas this immense structure seems to just stretch the scarf until the weave separates a bit. Makes it thin enough for things to pass in and out, like holding it up to the sun and being able to see light through a dark scarf. They're similar, but not the same function.
Okay. All right. I feel like the evening is getting late. And I want to stay. I imagine that. All right. No, I think that. Yes, I think that we should go there together. I think we should go there together.
Well, when you return from this job of yours, come seek me out. I will, or meet me there. I'll head there as soon as I possibly can get away and begin some of my own research. But in the
If this mission
meantime,
takes longer than a week, I will send word and find you there.
good. In the meantime, take these, and he piles up 5 really hefty tomes, gives you a pile of books, all on the sub.
Bottom opens up his bag and goes, "Go ahead, just drop him inside, and they'll be fine."
He dumps them in there. He gives you 5 really dry treatises on the divine pantheon, the history of research of the afterlife, the nature of souls. There's a lot of philosophy and religious texts, but he says if you're going to understand what's really inside your batteries, it's time to start studying on the other side of the coin. So read up, and by the time I see you next, we'll dig more deeply into the metaphysical truths that are housed inside these little cages you've created.
Well, it doesn't seem like I'm going to be getting much sleep over the next week.
Ooh, my
Oh, we
favorite
hate
bottom.
that.
Oh, crabby, sleep deprived bottom.
Obsessed, sleep deprived bottom. Our favorite. Hey, oh, sorry. Is
No, that's good.
Yeah, no,
We're gonna jump back to our current.
well,
current
could
time.
we retcon something quick on the road?
Yeah.
It's something quick. So Freya just kind of pulls back her cricket at some point up to Potams and lets everyone says, "Hey, can we talk about something?" Let everyone go ahead of us just a little. Can you tell me anything? anything about your conversation with the professor about the place we saw?
Essentially, it is, it seems like it's a giant battery of sorts, but different. And also, you might not believe this because I don't know if I have completely wrapped my head around it yet, but the professor, and Bottom just kind of takes a look back and forth, and he leans in close and goes, he thinks that it's a connection to the afterlife and that we're letting souls through. I understand that that's probably
Adam,
sounds crazy, and
Adam,
I just it
Adam,
again.
I need to tell you something.
Oh, yes.
So you think it would be possible that somebody was there that could maybe have a soul attached to them and talk to them sometimes?
You mean like ghosts?
Adam, since we were there, I'll tell you, I haven't told another person this before, but since we were there, I saw one of those little lights that was going around us go into my sword. And since then, I may have been hearing the voice of my ancestor.
I think that Bottom is just going to straighten up for a moment and give her a.
I don't know what I'd like to talk about. We're going to the Switch. I'd like to talk about it with her a little bit, but also I don't know if it's directly just in my sword, and if I put my sword somewhere that we separate, or if he's like in my head.
And we are not hearing, right?
Let's
We're just skipping ahead on the road.
just try an experiment.
Okay. Maybe
Let me hold your sword.
Maybe when we get to Shota, we can ask her about it, and maybe she would have some other ideas. We can try separating my sword, or maybe you could try holding my sword and see if you can.
That is literally what I just said.
Sorry.
Let me just hold your sword, and I mean, it's a simple experiment. Maybe I can talk to your ancestor.
Okay, I'll tell you more about him later. I think I haven't heard him very loud right now. Sometimes, most of the time, he listens to what's going on. But I haven't really heard him here for a minute when it's late. I can hear him talking to some other people, so that's the only time.
I know, right?
What does he tell you to do?
He wants me to go back to my tribe and take it over. He wants me to go back home and take over leadership.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
I heard you.
You hear me.
I heard.
I don't really want to do that right now. Don't.
Okay.
If you don't.
Okay.
Tell him.
All right.
If you talk to him.
At this point, Bottom just kind of like. I took a course in medicine. Can I just? Have you been feeling all right lately?
Completely. And everything started right when we were there. One of those lights crashed into my sword, and then I could hear him in my head.
I think your humor is
You did go off by yourself for a little bit.
Okay.
vaguely remember.
Just think
Okay.
about it. Let's do some experiments with it. I don't hear anything else. I don't see anything weird. I don't hear anything weird. I just
So
hear-
if I take your sword right now, and do you hand Bottom your sword?
Mhm. Yeah, hand pot on my sword.
Okay.
Okay.
It's big and heavy.
Oh,
Basket. I put it in the basket
Okay.
for him, and he holds onto it.
Yeah, good.
does anything happen? Bottom just kind of grabs the hilt and braces himself ever so slightly, but grabs the hilt.
Just feels like a metal sword.
Okay.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Sure.
I'm gonna
Can
say
I-
Panda leans over to Aaron and is like, Bottom's playing with Freya's sword.
What is going on?
You can't even lift it
He's experimenting with some
Right?
new battle
Like,
styles.
it's bigger than
Yeah,
a
roll an Arcana check.
13?
I mean, yeah, just a sword.
Okay, Bottom, the other thing I want to try
not
is
crazy.
that... Okay, I can still hear him far away. The other thing I want to try is when we're at Shota's, I want to hide my sword somewhere and see if I still hear his voice.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can just leave your sword in the basket now and see if you can still hear his voice, and I
want to put it a significant amount away.
well, hear me out. I'll take up the rear, and you go and scout ahead.
Because I can still
Uh,
hear in the background right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Bottom's just like tapping. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll just put some distance between you and the sword. We'll
Sure.
just see.
Well,
Okay.
so
I'm gonna gallop ahead a little.
to be clear, when the sword is not in your hands or on your person, when you're not in like
A certain
in
distance.
D&D mechanical speak,
Okay.
when you transferred it out of your inventory and into Bottom's inventory, like
Sure.
you don't necessarily have to have it equipped or in your hand. When it's on you, you've been hearing Asmund Kimba talking
Okay.
every once in a while. It's not consistent. It's not like he's constantly mumbling in your head.
hmm
Um,
But I can hear him in the background sometimes.
but sometimes,
about
on and
talking
off.
to other people.
yeah, I mean, most days you hear him
chattering
mumbling
away.
to himself
Yeah.
or talking to somebody or
Okay.
humming a tune or
Okay.
something. Maybe once or twice.
Mhm.
Like it's sometimes you wake up to it. But when Bottom's holding it and you are not, you don't hear anything.
Okay. All right. Let's rewind a second. Like I don't hear the chatter right now. So do you mind just riding with that in your basket for a little while and I'll see if I can hear him talking at all? Because oftentimes I hear him talking in the background. Anyway, so even if he's not talking to me, I hear him talking to other people or I hear him like muttering to himself. So could you keep it for a little bit?
Yes, I would be happy to keep this for a bit,
Okay.
just to run
I
your
just want to
experiment.
know if he's real.
But
I want to know if
let's
he's
talk a
real
little
or
bit
it's in
later
my
this
head.
evening. Let's talk a little bit later this evening. I would just like to give you a physical as of sorts.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
why
you.
is it that when I put both of these in, I can't hear? Hang on 1 second.
Bottom holds up like a Rorschach test.
Right.
What do you
I'm
see?
trying to put the voices in my head. And,
Dragons.
they're not working.
What else do you see? Dragons.
But yeah, I would like to kind of give you just to make sure that it is what you say it isn't something else. I'm just a little concerned.
Okay. I am too. Trust me, I've been holding this for way too long and listen to this guy. I need to know if what he's telling me is real.
Hey, Gabe.
Hello. Alrighty.
Say hi.
Okay. Sorry, that was a lot of retcon.
Lean forward and say hi.
Hey, Wes.
Hi. Hi.
I just came down here to steal treats.
Yeah, as you.
All right, let's leap back forward in time. So
Leap back forward.
let's
in
leap.
time.
Yes,
I like that.
let's rejoin our timeline where we intended. So now that our whole crew is here, last time you all departed the Maib and headed out in the direction of Shota's residence, Shota the Hedge Witch, who you were directed to seek out by a Trixie Knoll. On your journey, you encountered a group of refugees fleeing a village that had been attacked by ghouls. And you provided some aid to them and helped them on their way as they headed off towards the Maib. They told you the story of sort of a fairly well-prepared frontier village, not far from the border of the Wound, that was accustomed to driving off the occasional monster or creature emerging from the Wound, but a veritable horde of ghouls swarmed the village and wiped them out, or at least many of them. You then encountered a small pack of those ghouls yourselves as you were making your way towards Shota. Got a little turned around. You defeated a group of 6 ghouls pretty handily. And then with a little more journey, found yourself making your way through heavy mist in the evening to stumble across Shota's threshold and into her little yard.
Right.
Don't forget.
And she's got a
Don't
wound,
forget what
right?
happened when we got there.
Yeah. Air decided to hop over the fence instead of knocking at the gate and was rewarded with a blast of lightning.
Nice.
At which point you encountered Shota, an elderly but still striking woman, you believe human, shorter, salt and pepper hair, and robes made of a sort of crazy looking patchwork. It was, I believe I described it as, it looks like a muumuu made entirely of different dish rags sewn together. She carries a gnarled oak staff and has gently glowing purple eyes that glow in the darkness.
Is it like that glowing purple from that area we were in that was like possessed with
tree.
the animals?
No.
And okay.
No, different. This is
To
more
know
like
if that had made its way back.
yeah, no, this is more like a very pale violet.
Ooh, pretty.
And you only saw it in the darkness.
Okay.
Shota greeted you, and after the rest of you politely knocked and asked to enter, and after Air cracked a joke and got Shota to loosen up and laugh a little bit, and of course when you dropped the name Murph Turkle, she invited you to cross her threshold and enter her home, but not before you met Stephen, a sort of wild man that seems to live in Shota's yard. Stephen, fully nude and very dirty, came loping around at Shota's call and took care of your crickets while you entered her house.
I'm so sad I missed the reaction to nude dude Steven.
Yeah, Stephen. Stephen gives off very much like like dog and master vibes with Shota.
All right.
He hasn't said
We were
anything.
just sort of like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was much reaction at all, actually.
Everyone's like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Somebody said Canada reacted.
Actually, I believe Air specifically said that she showed her disgust
Oh, did she?
for this, whatever this relationship
Oh,
was.
right.
But in the end, Shota invited you into her residence, and though Air hesitated, everyone did eventually step across the threshold to discover. Oh, and if you can't see it, this isn't a perfect representation of Shota's cabin or lodge, but it's sort of it's got Hobbit vibes. It's got a little circular
Hobbity.
door.
Very cute.
It's a very beautiful sort of yard surrounded not by a fence like that, but by a low stone wall. It's very, very peaceful and very strongly looks like distinct from the surrounding forest. Like she has crafted a little bubble of space here that is exactly the way she likes it. It's quite charming. But inside, the cottage appears significantly larger than it does from the outside. Not like a grand mansion, but it has a fairly expansive living room. It's an open concept kitchen with a big hearth, a large table that could probably seat 10, 12 guests, and a hallway leading deeper into a few rooms, and a set of stairs that go up to a second floor that was clearly not visible from the outside. The first thing you notice about Shota's residence is that it gives off, at first glance, it gives off very like farmhouse grandma vibes. Right? Like there's doilies and there's decorative plates on the mantle and rugs and
Needlepoint work.
certain kinds of phoenix. Yeah, there's a style of furniture that kind of gives that vibe. But as you take a few steps further into the living room area, and as your eyes sort of adjust to the light and you look around, you start to catch little details that change the vibe very quickly. So, for example, the legs of the furniture are clearly made of bone. They're not wood. The
Like human bone.
you're not sure
Okay.
what kind of bone, but definitely bones. The stones of the hearth are not just plain river stone. Each has a pattern in it, not carved, but appears to be naturally occurring.
Okay.
But it's not until you look directly at one that you see that each has a face in it. There's about 40 stones that make up this hearth, each to varying sizes, but they all have a face somewhere that you can see. Not in relief, like in the pattern of stone itself. The rug, as you look a little bit more closely, it's not moving, like moving from the place where it is, but it seems to be just gently in motion, sort of rippling to itself. There's a lot of little things like that.
Yeah.
There are in certain dark corners in the ceiling where there's these big oak beams that go across the ceiling. In certain dark corners and shadows, you swear you see some things moving, but you can't quite pin them down with your eyes.
Hando is skittish.
It's gently unsettling.
Yeah.
Is the overall vibe, but it is fastidiously tidy in here. And as she steps into the room, Shota sort of makes her way to the center of the living area where there are these, sort of very proper looking couches and chairs. And she turns and sits in one comfortable chair near the fire. And she gestures for all of you to have a seat. And then she gives sort of a little signal with her hand to no one in particular that you can see. And a moment later, you hear just the gentle clinking of dishes in the kitchen area. And as she sits, she looks at all of you and says, "So, you've told me that you've traveled a great distance to visit me, and that you are here on a matter of some urgency. So, while I would typically wait to talk business until we had had a chance to have tea, if it is truly urgent, perhaps it'd be best if you began by telling me a little bit about what it is that you need and the nature of your urgent request.
Well, my elf friend and I have had a tracker placed on us from I always forget,
The religious group.
the religious
The
group.
Synod.
The
The
Synod.
Synod. And while we're okay with it for the moment, we're just wondering if there is a way, as the need arises, for us to have the power to remove that tracker.
She leans back in her chair just a little bit and she says, so you've been cursed by the matriarchal leaders of Minotaur society.
Well, they would
You're-
say cursed, but
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're criminals then?
Well, no.
are only criminals.
We're on a
Cursed.
specific quest for them.
There's not a lot of reasons I can imagine that the Synod would place a tracking curse on someone.
Well, it might just be that what they thought they didn't like. And now that we're on a quest, they would like to keep track of us where we are on that quest.
I see. And you would rather not be pinned down by the restrictions of your obligation.
Well,
It's
like
just
I
very
said,
unsettling to be tracked. We don't know what could happen to us or what.
well, like I said, I'm okay with it. I don't know how Pando feels, but I'm okay with it now. Like we are in
Right
alignment
now
with
we're
them.
okay.
Is this an issue for you, Air asks?
And
I'm
but-
just trying to understand the context of the request.
But we're thinking if there's a time where we did no longer wish to be tracked, if we are obligated to that, or there's a way that we can remove it ourselves.
Indeed, indeed. Well,
Did we already say who sent us?
Yeah.
You did.
Okay.
We're Turkle.
So we get the street
Circle.
cred.
well, I'm quite sure, like most criminals that Murph sends my way, you are of course innocent and have been
Unjustly.
unjustly maligned by
Yeah.
the authorities.
You got it.
And I,
It
of
may
course,
have been a little accident. Not of malintent.
Oh my
Not of malintent.
Sure,
Not of
sure.
malintent.
Yes.
Never.
Well,
We like the Minotaurs in much, really.
Very
We
convincing.
really like the Minotaur. We really like them.
yeah.
I
What do I
grew
have
up
to
with
say?
them.
I really like
them.
them.
I'm trying to compete, and they're like.
I have many
big
Minotaur
and-
friends.
A lot of women are-
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Turkish people. I just don't want them in my neighborhood.
Right,
don't
right. No,
I just want to have to eat their food.
no, yeah, or smell it from
Yeah.
another apartment. No. No.
Okay,
I really do.
So one corner of her mouth turns up just a little bit in a smirk, and she says, "Don't mistake my questions for any value judgments. There's a reason I live in the middle of nowhere. I'm not comfortable with the restrictions of society at large. Though I do enjoy the trappings." And at this, she looks up, and you see a very beautiful sterling silver tea service with fine china cups making its way towards the sitting area. And at first glance, it seems to be floating, levitating towards you. But as your eyes adjust just a little bit, you see just a very faint, sort of vague figure is actually holding this tea service, there's a specter that is bringing the tea for you to enjoy. And when you get a little closer in the light of the fire, you can see the specter just a little more clearly. It is shadowy. It's like it's as if a shadow has detached itself from the wall. And in the light of the fire, it fades just a little bit, but you catch some color and details. And it appears to you as a sort of a woodsman. So not really servant vibes, sort of a rough and tumble woodsman in like hunting garb, actually has a longbow on his back, buckskin boots, there's fringe going on. But he serves the tea as if he was a finely trained manservant in a noble's manner. And after a moment or two, each of you has a cup of piping hot tea sitting in front of you. Honey or sugar cream has been distributed, or milk.
Thank you
as
very
wish.
much, Shadow Man.
Eric comments that I love what you've done with the place.
Oh yes, thank you.
She's riding the line right between sarcasm and genuine.
Sure, yeah.
I feel like Potham is definitely, his interest is piqued at this specter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say as Panda goes to accept her tea, she kind of does one of these just to see if like touch through this.
Yeah, your hand passes right through.
Yeah.
You're not. It's as if nothing is there. Mm-hmm. Not even a temperature change.
And Trey kind of leans over and whispers to Bottom.
I didn't hear you say that.
No, the microphone's over here.
Oh, I didn't know if I. Maybe we should have him hold my sword, but very, very quietly.
So Shota sort of chuckles and says, "Yes, thank you. My home has become a respite for a broad community of wandering folk, and then we all do our part around here."
When you say wandering folk, does that mean like
I take in strays.
So like of physical form and non-physical form, as your friend who served the tea.
Yes, we.
Is that a ghost?
That's one way to phrase it. Timothy is a discorporated spirit that has attached himself to my residence. In some ways, he came with the place.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Timothy. Okay.
Well, back to the matter at hand. Please enjoy your tea. As I was saying, I have no strong political affiliations with the Synod or really any other
Phew.
bastion of
I just
authority.
like to put it out there sometimes.
Yeah. Any other
Problem.
bastion of authority out there in the wider world. It's why I live here on the edge of the wound. But I do like to know before negotiations begin just how much risk I'm placing myself in when I assist someone with a request. And it sounds to me like were I to provide you support in this way, I would be opening myself up to some potential, shall we say, heat from the government of the Minotaurs, which is not a deal breaker, but will affect the eventual price. If you don't mind, take a closer look at what we're dealing with. Sit still, if you
Please.
will.
Please.
I forget where it physically is, or is it just like imbued on us?
Yeah,
This
they just
curse,
just
this
cast
We
it
can't
upon
feel
you.
it or
Okay.
anything like that, I don't think.
It's not like a mark or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. So she opens a small chest sitting on a side table, a very pretty sort of inlaid chest. And originally you took to be wood with mother of pearl inlaid over the top.
Is this just like a Beauty and the Beast situation where all the furniture all has like vaguely humanoid features?
Everything's just a little different than it looks at a glance, I will say.
The candlesticks look human.
But
Clock.
One
Air
like
wants to
scratches
sit on
its
the
head.
floor.
but knowing that Air is paying attention to this,
Mm-hmm.
I think Air notices where nobody else does that when she reaches down to the little chest, she doesn't actually open it. As she's reaching to it, it opens for her.
Sure.
Ooh.
And she pulls out of this tiny chest a wand. It is technically a wand, but it's unlike wands that maybe we all might be picturing. It's very short and sort of stubby. So it's not like a Harry Potter
Right, like
13-inch, whatever. It's probably about 4 inches. And well, let's be straight. It looks like a thumb. Like a lot like a thumb.
Weird.
Like a thumb. It is a thumb.
She's holding a thumb. Sort of a desiccated, mummified thumb.
Excellent.
And she holds it like a wand, and then she comes to each of you in turn and sort of outlines your body as if she were drawing an outline of you on the concrete with chalk, right?
Mm.
But just where you're standing, she does this around both of you. And as she does, she mumbles a little bit of language under her breath. And you also, as she's doing this, notice that from behind you and passing through you, Timothy's back. And he just, as she's doing this, he sort of passes through your space and then passes through her. And he repeats that process with each of you.
I feel like Potom is absolutely fascinated and is just up close watching like a cat watching a ribbon dancer, a ribbon toy. As it goes around, I feel like Potom is right there just watching the whole process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a very interesting.
I'm gonna say
There's
it tickles.
yeah, so
He's
that
like passing
that
through,
might
right?
be psychosomatic, but sure.
Like-
Definitely. I think
that's Pando's reaction.
I think if Pando
to it.
thinks it tickles, then
Yeah.
it tickles. Yeah.
Well, hello.
Hello, sir.
So Potom, there are definitely in very small ways, there are some echoes to what you saw Professor Sendak doing in those tests. Not all of them, but there are a couple things that you're like, oh, you're making the connection in your mind. All right, so finally she returns to her seat and she looks at the both of you and says, well, it's not impossible. And having said that, it's also not what you are hoping. The hooks are set fairly deep, and in order to remove this tracking curse from you safely, well, let me rephrase this. There are 2 factors here to consider, and each of these factors add a level of difficulty to the task. The first factor is your safety.
Very important.
The curse has some rather deep hooks in both your body and spirit. And to remove it from you safely requires preparation, protections, and a great deal of energy. And skill and experience, of course. The second factor is the very nature of the spell itself is to track your location. And as such, there is a link between you, through the means of the spell, to the caster of the spell. So if the spell is removed improperly, they will be immediately alerted that the spell has been removed. It can be removed very carefully without sending that disruptive signal back along the path of the spell. Now, these two factors combined are something you will have to
Quite the salesman. here.
consider how much you value, because if what you said to me is true and what you want is something that will allow you to make this decision later and to remove this curse of your own accord at a time of your choosing, both of those things will be put at risk. If I were to craft a scroll or a tincture or an item that would strip away this curse, it would be first aid rather than surgery, let's say. Field medicine instead of a carefully orchestrated operation room. So you would be putting yourself, both physically and psychically, at risk, and you would, without question, alert the caster of the spell when you did it. But this is within my power. Should you wish to take a safer option, a safer path, and also wish to prevent the caster of the spell from knowing it has been removed, I would need to complete the ritual here, in my domain. And it would take some time.
How much time?
Ideally, to do it perfectly, 24 hours for each of you. And I would need time to rest in between. The material costs would be significant. But it is possible.
Like
If you're
how
willing to
significant?
play fast and loose with your life and your sanity, or if you don't care so much whether the
One of us
Synok
is-
knows that you have removed the spell, we could do it faster.
What would be cost of doing it here versus the less safe option?
Well, as I'm sure Murph told you, I don't negotiate in currency. I require an exchange of services. I don't have much need for gold. But there are things that are difficult for me to achieve on my own. And to help you with this, for the fast and dirty version, I would be looking for you to enter the wound and return with some materials that I require. Not a huge lift, but there are certain components for spells and potions and other things that I use regularly, and journeying into the wound is time consuming and somewhat risky, especially when I have to do it on my own. So at the lowest, I would be asking you to retrieve for me 3 sets of fire toad eyeballs. They need to remain fresh to be useful to me. And a patch of Vestal moss, larger than a standard buckler shield.
Eyeballs. Fresh eyeballs.
Standard Bucky? What?
A shield,
Thank you.
Butler.
yes.
I'm sorry, a shield? Moss shield? No.
I need a patch
A
of Vestal moss.
moss, larger than a standard shield.
It needs to be one contiguous patch of moss. It has to be unbroken.
Okay.
Both of these items can be found in a similar habitat in the wound. I can't point you exactly to where to find them, but I can give you general directions of where I tend to have good luck harvesting.
And this would be for the option that we would take with us to administer ourselves at a later date, possibly going crazy, hurting our own body,
Fast and loose.
and definitely notifying the
Definitely
Minotaur.
notifying the Synok.
Cool.
Yes.
How about that other option?
Somewhat more elaborate. Hmm.
We need like a term sheet or something. This
I, in addition to those materials, I have, shall we say, some security concerns. My my location here is intentional. Being so close to the wound has kept me free of the riffraff that might otherwise venture out and interrupt my solitude and privacy. However, in recent weeks, really for the last, oh gosh, I couldn't put a specific day on it, but it's been at least 2 weeks, there has been greater activity in the wound that has me anxious. Creatures roaming forth from the wound that I have never seen. And as a resident of this area, it concerns me that maybe my home and my solitude is no longer safe. So, to provide my full assistance to you, in addition to finding those materials, I would ask you to journey deeper into the wound and find evidence of what it is that has changed in the wound, so that I can understand whether I need to stay or go. I'm not so ridiculous as to assume that you can stop it or change it and put an end to whatever the threat is, but I need to understand the threat. And so, afraid I can't be much more clear than that, but if you return without satisfying evidence to help me understand the threat that the wound now poses to me, I would not be willing to take on the risk of your project.
Can I ask an out-of-game question?
Sure.
Because I can't remember. Do we know or not know definitively if the wound is connected to the big baddie that Upeta, thank you, that we released? Do we have any indication or knowledge if there is a connection, at least with the severity? Or is that something we have to figure out? I just didn't know if we already did.
Freya's just operating on that. She's convinced of it.
That there's a connection.
Yeah,
but
but
we
maybe
haven't
it's
like
not.
been told something by any professors or anything.
No,
Well, we didn't know that stuff was coming out of the wound at that point.
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
You didn't really uncover this sort of new threat from the wound until you hit the road out of the Maib
Okay.
and came across those refugees.
Gotcha. So that's
Um,
the chronological order of operation.
Yeah. And it has been 19 days since
That's our
you
counter?
released
Mhm.
Upito.
And we are, correct me if I'm wrong, we are headed into the wound anyway, right? We have a mission to go into the wound.
Well, we want to find you, Peto.
We want to find Upito. Pando's been interested in the wound for a good long bit. So, I mean, we have to get the stuff anyways, because it's for both.
Yeah, I guess I thought that we were heading, and this just from our months of
Mhm.
this storyline. I guess I thought that we were heading towards the wound anyway.
Yeah.
We were going to go and explore it. So
I'm game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so you
sort of
didn't have
like
like an
this.
official,
yeah. it
you didn't
wasn't
have like an official quest to go into the wound.
I
but
gotcha.
Certainly been an area of interest.
Yeah.
I just sort of like look very pointedly at Pando and Air because I'm sitting next to it, like, like
Pando's not picking up on it. She
I
goes,
know.
"What?"
nothing, nothing. Mama, why do you keep winking at me? Yeah.
Friends, it seems to me like it may just be our not that I've ever really believed in this, but it
Destiny?
might just be our destiny to head into the wound. It has been calling to us now
Mhm.
from 3 different sides of it. As we've traveled along the bottom side and now we're
Yep.
on the top side of it.
This feels like a wound adventure.
It seems right. It seems like we're being called to the wound,
Mm-hmm.
and we might as well, since we have to go there anyway, we might as well try for both,
Let's do it.
and if nothing less, come out with just the first option. we try for the harder option, but are lucky if we come out with the first one.
I'm game.
Okay. So Shota, I guess, listening to your discussion, looks at all of you and says, "Very well. The fetishes that I will use to, or that I will provide to allow you to strip away the curse on your own, are also a part of the greater ritual, should we choose to do this with my assistance here in my residence. So, on the assumption that you will be successful, I will begin preparing them. Upon your return, if you bring back the agreed upon price, I will provide them to you. Or if you are able to provide evidence of what is happening in the wound, then we can at that time work together to remove your curses."
Pando asks Shota if she can provide any information or resources that would be helpful for us to acquire these things for her, and also as we anticipate going further to try to find that satisfying evidence, since we are not super familiar with the wound.
So she tells you she can provide sort of general direction to the region inside the wound where the fire toads tend to hang out,
Okay.
sort of their habitat, and that the moss tends to be found in that area as well. She does additionally warn you that there are a number of dangers in the wound that are commonplace, or sort of historically are commonplace. There are several significant communities of harpies that live
We
on
love harpies.
the edges of the wound. And in particular, the area of the wound that you'll be entering, where the fire toads live, is known around these parts as the fire swamp. And so
Fire swamp.
you'll want to be cautious of things like quicksand,
Rodents of unusual.
rodents of
Fires.
unusual size, and the fire vents.
Of course.
Yeah. So those are just some general perils to be conscious of.
Okay.
But beyond that, she really can't give you any guidance about the broader mission into the wound, because she has no idea what's happening. She herself has not entered the wound in more than a month.
Okay.
And so she has no idea what has changed in there. Do you by any chance tell her about the ghouls? Or is that something that you keep?
Is that what
To
we
yourself.
I think
encountered
we
on our
should
way?
definitely
Mhm.
ask her about the goals.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah,
gonna
tell her
go
about
to
the
the town
goals, yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so with that information, she does tell you in return that some of the things she has, or Stephen, have noticed coming out of the wound in the last couple of weeks that feel different than what they've seen before, do suggest a pattern, which is that everything they've encountered that's new and different has been undead.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No.
Like undead?
Well, so Shota has encountered undead before, but the creatures that traditionally have come out of the wound that she's had to deal with, and that some of the villages in the area have had to deal with, have not been undead. They've been sort of twisted nature more than that. Abominations is the term that the Monstrous Manual would use. Sort of mutated natural creatures is what they're used to dealing with. The undead are new, and she wants to know what's going on with that.
When dealing with the undead, Shota, do you have any suggestions for us? Is there a best way to fight them, or a best way to?
Yes, do you have a holy warrior like a paladin, or
That'd
some
be
kind
nice.
of priest who can call upon divine magics?
I don't
Those
think
would be very useful. Do you have,
any of us
guys
have
have-
like religious.
did you pack holy water, or
We got none of that.
no?
I'll
None.
need holy
None of
water.
Do you have any holy water?
No, I certainly don't. I mean,
Yeah,
I
for a
guess,
premium now.
yeah, I guess broadly I would say they're a little worse at night, generally speaking.
Oh, like they fight better at night, or they're a little worse at what they do at night?
I mean, broadly, the undead are more dangerous at night.
Just making sure.
Makes sense.
It does.
So at this point, Shota, out of that same chest, pulls out a small roll of parchment, and with a pen, she scribbles some things quickly on it, and rolls it out on sort of the coffee table in between you, and it outlines the agreement that you've made, and she invites you to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
By signing this, what happens if we're unable to return with these things? Is it just that we won't be able to complete that, or do we have some other obligation?
You ask a very specific and thoughtful question. Because I am preparing the fetishes in anticipation of your need, should you fail to procure the items and the price agreed upon, you will be charged a restocking fee to accommodate the effort and materials put into the fetishes. That
How much is the restocking fee?
What is the
What is the
restocking
restocking fee?
What's the value of a soul?
fee?
Find some clothes for Steven.
I'm not a monster. The restocking fee is your crickets, which will remain here with me as collateral when you depart.
Okay, I should tell you some things about Susan before we go then. Okay.
Here's her cream that we rub on her antennas every night.
This is her favorite
This
blankie.
is Susan's antenna cream. Gross. I don't know why that grossed me out so much. But
Skin
really,
condition that we're.
I don't like
That's
it.
hilarious.
I don't like it.
Definitely, there's antenna cream.
Carapace cream.
At this, well, I guess,
She's waiting for your signature.
yeah.
Oh well, I'm not signing. I'm not the one getting my tracker removed.
I don't know, Panda, what do you think?
I don't have a cricket.
Truth.
Oh, she's holding all of your crickets.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this
No, I
is
definitely
God.
knew that the NX07 was definitely on the chopping block there.
right. I mean, I don't feel like I can sign it unless the group agrees. And if not, can we negotiate something else? Just because I'm like, it's just for me, for us, but I don't even have a cricket.
Oh.
I'm signing someone else's cricket away.
No. We're a team.
Yeah.
This is part of. We're a team. We're a team. We're in this together. And he reaches out a pen and he signs the paper.
Aww.
I'll sign too. Air.
And everybody turns and looks at Air.
Pano, is the pen like ready?
Air rolls her eyes. Okay. Remember this. You never say I don't do anything for you guys.
I'll always be signing papers.
Hey, you'd be drowned in a river if it wasn't for me, okay?
She signs it Mickey Mouse.
It'd be great.
She
if
would
you
be the
tried
one drowning you in the river.
All right, when the last of your signatures is on the page, there is a bright flash and the paper disappears. And
We can't have a copy of that.
oh no. And you look down to notice that your tea is all gone, and all of you feel a wave of exhaustion sweep over you, possibly artificially induced, and your eyes grow heavy and your heads nod forward. And on
no.
the second or third nod, you lose consciousness.
Wait, I have questions about your ghosts.
No, this is no good. I hate this. Why? We've been roofied.
You awaken fairly early in the morning to the sound of birds in the forest welcoming the dawn. All of your belongings are arrayed about you, and you are sitting, or I guess laying, comfortably, sort of propped up against a few trees and larger rocks, just outside the gate of Shota's yard. But this morning, unlike last night when you approached, the thick fog that was everywhere as you were coming up towards Shota's is not present outside of the stone wall, but rather now fills the inside of the stone wall. And you, from where you are standing outside the gate, cannot see Shota's cottage or any of her yard. It's completely obscured by this heavy fog.
And she gave us directions, vague,
Yeah.
the best that she could.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Freya wakes up and like looks around and panicked for a second for her sword because it was still in the basket.
Yeah, so the to be clear, the steel defender is with you. The only thing that is left behind in Shota's yard are 3 crickets.
Okay,
We head out.
let's do it.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Yeah, we gotta find this. Gotta find this.
so we are starting day 20
Oh gosh, that sounds awful.
of
It's like a lot of days.
since Yupito's departure.
Yeah,
Just gonna roll
you
something.
guys, Yupito has to be behind the duel.
For
She has
that?
to be.
That's a 2.
Is there like some combination of like Potam's battery or that portal battery thingy, which we don't know about, right?
No, we do.
I mean,
We know about
we
it.
Yeah,
don't know
it's
the
a portal.
extent
We just don't know
of like,
Yeah, you don't know that it's
We don't know it's a
connection to
portal.
the afterlife.
right,
We know it exploded the worm.
right.
All right. So according to what Shota told you last night,
Mm-hmm.
the sort of the verge of the wound or the border of the wound is, it's not a hard line in the turf necessarily, right? But she estimates that she lives about 5 miles from
That's not
In the
bad.
entrance, yeah.
from the edge. So in this terrain, that's maybe about a half day's journey on foot, unless you really push yourselves to move fast. But at a normal pace, that's about what it'll take you to get to the edge. To get to the area known as the fire swamp is a little more than a full day's journey. So most likely she suggested you would want to rest for the evening before arriving there, but that is up to you.
Or to wait on the edge of the wound to go into the fire swamp, or to just, what do we do? Just go into the fire swamp and go halfway?
Being knocked out by the tea, that didn't count as a rest.
Oh, you all definitely got a long rest.
Yeah. We were already on
You've had,
long rest.
you've had a
I
long
think.
rest.
Well, not me.
Oh, not you. Okay. I think it's probably a better idea to rest at the edge. I want to get in there, I want to get going, but I don't know what the fire swamp's like, and I don't know if we're going to be able to
And it's nighttime.
even really stop.
So
Makes sense.
Yeah?
I was grabbing snacks. The option is to go in unrested or rest at
No.
the edge and
No, we're pretty rested, but it's a full day's journey through the wound to get to where we're going, and so do we rest on the edge, or do we just go for it for part of the day? So, and then rest when it gets dark in some, with guards, people on watch, or do we? We're gonna have to have people on watch anyway.
I kind of say we go in like
Okay.
we're at day 20.
Truth.
Now let's do it. Let's go.
Okay. Alrighty.
Rock and roll.
Let's try not to die.
For once, Freya's the one who didn't want to run in. No. All right, let's do it.
Oh, wait a second. I'm immune to magical sleep.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Maybe it was traditional. It wasn't magical.
Maybe it wasn't magical. Maybe you just got drugged.
No, it was just chemical sleep.
It was just the
These are
drugs in the
Put 'em
in the
You really were roofied.
I'm going dead.
Okay,
Sure shock.
so
And the one time it would have come up.
wouldn't that have been useful?
You had your character card.
All right, so your journey in the morning is relatively simple. I mean the terrain here starts to get a little more rugged as you move further towards the wound. This side of the wound, you're climbing towards elevation. So you're climbing up from sort of the valley in which the Maib was located, up into not mountains by any means. The wound is not in a mountainous area, but there are some sort of rocky highlands that you're moving up through. And so you're having to scramble up some different escarpments, find trails through areas. There's times when you have to switch back and around to find a way up instead of climbing up rocks. But you do eventually make your way to a relatively elevated point where you're able to look down into the wound more broadly, or at least a stretch of the wound, because the wound is fairly vast.
We're in the wound now, correct? We're just making our way to the fire swamp?
You're not in the wound yet. But you're
okay.
very close to the verge now.
Oh, that's
so
what
you're
I thought we were in the wound.
after a morning's hike, you find yourself not quite noon probably, but you find yourself up high, looking out over from a place where you can look out over a long stretch of land. And what you
the whole wound.
it's hard for you to estimate because you've now
Okay.
looked at it from two sides.
Right.
Right. You've looked at it from the south, looking north, and you're now looking at it from the east, looking west.
But we still don't know like how far it stretches in those other. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
But from this high point, your best guess is, at least the areas that you've seen so far, this is like you all should imagine that the wound is sort of like Yellowstone National Park
Okay.
kind of a size. It's
So
not
small.
yeah,
Real tiny.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a patch. It's not like a patch of land that you
Sure.
can look across, right? It's a region that is distinct. You cannot see the far side from where you're standing,
Okay.
but you can see quite a bit. And so what you see is generally there's not like a clean line down the middle, but as you look from where you stand in the east, west into the wound, to the left of you, so southwards, most of what you see is sort of twisted woodland. So not a lot of greenery, a lot of gray, sort of dried out or desiccated looking trees. There's little patches of green here and there, but it's sort of a sickly green. There's a lot of brown and gray. There's rocky outcroppings from time to time. There is some significant elevation out there, some spires of rock, and places where the land dips down. But there are sections of that look like maybe they experienced a fire in recent years and are sort of ashy, and others that just look kind of sickly. To the right, again, sort of generally speaking, so towards the north, it's much more marshy. So not as extreme as this, but if you remember in Return of the King, when Sam and Frodo get to the swampy area with the faces, and Gollum's telling
Don't
him not to
follow
look
the
in the
lights.
water.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's that sort of vibe,
Okay.
right? It stretches out for a long, long
There's
ways,
dead elves looking up at them.
and there's
from
lots
the
of dead
water.
elves.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's much more thickly. There's much more thick vegetation there, so it's not like you just look for 50 miles and it's flat open swamp and you can see it all. There are patches of trees, there's forests and stuff, but there's also big patches of just marsh and a lot of water over there. And unfortunately, you can also see dense black clouds sort of hovering over some of these areas of swamp that you're pretty sure, Pando, from a distance, you're pretty sure that those are, you think, clouds of insects, possibly clouds of birds.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell from the distance here, but they are dense and moving rapidly back and forth around in that swampy area.
Saruman send them?
That's the eyes of Saruman.
What a jerk.
So you've got sort of a panoramic view of the wound from here. Your directions take you into the swamps, but broadly that's what you see in front of you. And there's a pretty clear path down from here that can take you in either direction.
Okay.
Hmm.
And do we know which will either choice get us to the?
There's not really a trail here. There's just generally a way down. Like you're
Okay.
gonna be climbing down. It's not the climb up here was steep, but now it's sort of a more gentle grade down into this valley.
Okay.
Cool.
Get some toads and moss.
Onward and downward.
Pando, how are you feeling?
Probably very ill. Because last time I wasn't even like this. I wasn't in the wound, and I was feeling sick in my stomach.
Yeah, the last time when you encountered the Minotaur, you were on the verge, similar to where you are now, and you had that sort of unsettled feeling.
I would imagine something akin to nausea.
Yeah, and I will say it's less debilitating this time because I think you expect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely got that. It's definitely got that feeling like a combination of nausea and exhaustion, like when you've been up way too many hours and you've had way too many cups of coffee and it's not really giving you the
Right.
caffeine buzz anymore. It's just
Like gut rot.
making you feel thin and making your stomach gut
Yeah.
rot, feel gross, and you're just concerned you'll never be fully hydrated again. It's kind of that
Yeah.
vibe. Like food isn't gonna help. It's just you're just not right with
And,
the
like, she
Lord until you get
knew-
a 24 hours of sleep.
Right. She knew she would feel this way coming here,
Hmm.
or at least just not well.
So, if we were going to, if we were going to use you as a compass, which side of this makes you feel more ill?
It'll be like the opposite of Gandalf. Like this side smells less foul, this side feels worse. So let's go this way. Feels worse.
All right, let's go the way it feels worse. And I am so sorry.
Might as well use it if we got it.
I think so.
So yeah, unfortunately, that's not a thing you experience. You don't have an ick detector. Just
Damn it. It was a good try.
This
It was a
whole-
great
It's a great
idea.
It's a great idea. This whole region is a violation of
Yeah.
the wild, and
Yeah.
you are so attuned to the wild that you have stepped into an area where magic that has started to literally imbue your being is corrupt
Yeah.
here. And so you've just stepped into it's almost like background radiation.
Sure.
It's like you've stepped over the city limits of Chernobyl and
Right.
you immediately are like, I don't feel good.
I think too that there would be a concern, and knowing Pando, she's gonna word vomit it to her companions, even though it's not fully fleshed out, but just a concern at like how her magic will behave in this area, because her, I don't know if you guys are magicians watchers, but like the circumstances are different, right?
Yeah.
And so she's not quite sure what will happen if and when she has to tap into those.
Well, and you were directly warned
Mhm.
about that by the druid that you met
Mm-hmm.
before. She specifically told you that tapping into your powers could prove a dangerous temptation
Right.
in the wound. All right, so you're making your way down this sort of long, gentle hill, and as you do, you're fully immersing yourself into the wound. So you have officially entered the wound, sort of early, sort of high noon at this point as you step into this area, and it's a fairly warm day, which prior to this, like up in the highlands, was not overwhelming. It wasn't extremely humid. There was a breeze up there. It was sort of fresh, like going hiking in the Rockies on a 80-degree day, right? There's low humidity and feels good. But as you descend into the valley and head in the direction of this swamp, the feel of it starts to shift really dramatically. There is a clinging, sort of cloying smell hanging in the air of rotting vegetation and other things, perhaps. It is thickly humid and muggy, and instantly all of you just start to feel kind of sticky, even though you've not really even made it to the wetlands yet. And probably about an hour into your walk, all of you start to feel something slightly similar to what Pando was describing. Pando, you're feeling it more strongly than ever, but all of you feel just a little yuck. Just a little off, like the morning when you wake up and you kind of know you're about to get sick. Like you're not sick yet, but you wake up and you're like, I'm under the weather. It's kind of that taste in the back of your mouth.
Too much last night, and I am too old to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. It's not debilitating. It doesn't have any mechanical effect in the game, but it does feel off.
But we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's aware that this place isn't right. As you make your way a little deeper, you start to come across the true edge of this marshland, and Shota did warn you that you'll have to sort of progress through the marsh for some time before you come to the true fire swamp. So the fire swamp is in an area of the marsh that is under a canopy of trees, sort of a broad area of not jungle, but sort of picture. I'm trying to think what those trees are. Are they mangroves? The trees that have like the roots that like spread out from the trunk, and they're like a lot of them are over the surface of the water.
Right.
That kind of vibe. So she describes trees that look like that.
Okay.
So when you get into areas where
So that's
those
what we're
trees are
looking for.
common and plentiful, and where very little sunlight reaches the surface of the water, that's the area of the marsh known as the fire swamp, and it's predominantly known as that because this is where the fire toads hang out, and the fire toads' primary food source are insects that live off the Vestal moss. So this little closed ecosystem of moss and bugs and fire toads she said they share sort of there's a sort of magical cycle that happens there where magical energies are passed between these three things. And so each of those three elements of the food chain there offer a different magical benefit when used as spell components. And so you're going to go hunt this specific ecosystem and try to harvest from there.
So she needs some fresh though.
That's what I was
Shouldn't
just
we
thinking.
explore around a little bit first? But at least we know where it is.
And she was very clear with you about what fresh means. So for her to use these, you either need to capture live toads and bring them back to her alive, or if you're going to remove the eyeballs from dead toads, you need to either preserve them in some way to keep them fresh, which I'm not sure any of you have magic that would allow you to do that. Or you need to get them back to her in less than 2 days.
Okay.
So they
we
sort
don't
of
wanna
have a
pick 'em up
2-day
now.
shelf life.
Right.
Did she, since you're saying she told us that, did she tell us anything about the danger of fire toads?
She described fire toads enough that you would be able to recognize them.
Mhm.
So fire toads are a form of giant toad. So they are about the size of like a Saint Bernard,
Oh,
like
okay.
a full grown,
Yeah.
like a full grown big dog.
Yeah.
So okay.
Oh yes, confiscate our crickets and then go and ask us to gather a bunch
Yeah,
of
I know,
Saint
seriously.
Bernard.
You know, are they big enough for Potham to ride?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Probably not effectively.
Okay.
They're not. I mean, Potham is quite small.
Maybe.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, you could certainly try.
You can certainly try.
Yeah.
Well, also we need several, right?
Three.
Two. Oh,
Three.
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 Three
Three.
Three.
Sets.
Three.
Three
pairs.
sets.
Yeah, 3
Mhm.
pairs of fire toad eyes, fresh.
Fresh.
So fresh.
And we're in luck because fire toads have 8 eyes, which means we have 2 to spare.
Right.
We just have to find 1 fire toad, right?
You better hope. You better hope fire toads don't have 8 eyes. Because if they do, each of those eyes is going to be able to fire a special beam of energy.
Oh, well, shit.
I'll decide soon what that is. Okay, so it's time for survival checks to start
My favorite.
wandering the wilderness.
Mhm.
And tell me a little bit about how you're going about this search. Who's taking the lead? Is there a strategy? How are you going about this? Just wandering aimlessly through the swamps?
Do you guys have anything that could possibly
Like preserve.
Oh, well, Potham, was there anything in the book or any connection that you had from the book that would kind of point us in the direction of Upido?
Oh, we're looking for Upido now?
Hey, our counter is on. We can't really take these. I mean, I guess we could take the toads really quick and run back to Shoto, but I think we need to. Now we know where they are, but we gotta find Upido.
But do we know she's actually here? We just suspect this.
The book that I read was not on Upido.
Yeah,
book that I read-
about being attracted to strong forces.
Oh, again, I need to just make it clear that the book that was holding Upido was just a focus for a spell that was entrapping her, because the book itself was a strong magical tome.
Yeah, okay, so in that magical tome there was no advice on how to locate a magical being?
No, what I read was about deep knowledge and intelligence.
Okay.
It didn't have specifics on Upido.
I was like, honestly, Upido is kind of beneath me.
I don't read anything on Upido in general. Okay. That's
And
fine.
we also need, so our purposes, just make sure I'm clear too. Obviously, Upido is like always the ever like big thing that we're searching for, either Upido or how to defeat her. But then also we know now where like the frogs and the moss are, so we can grab those on our way back. But we need to figure out a satisfying evidence, right, as to like why things have gotten worse and bring
Well,
it back to the witch.
sure. And so what we need to do now is set up a systematic search of our
Sure.
surrounding area.
Yeah.
We're gonna set
I
up a
think
group
that
net.
with that, Potom starts to sort of just develop a map
Yeah.
of, and that we are now centrally located from in our search, and so we are going to branch off from here in a systematic grid-like fashion. Something that Potom is really good at. So to do that, I would imagine an investigation check.
Yes. You can roll. Just give me an intelligence check to lay out a plan for how the team will do this, and then we'll make a group. We'll do a group check to tackle the larger challenge. But your intelligence check here will affect that.
That was a natty 20.
Oh,
Making it a 26.
Most perfect plan.
that's an excellent plan.
And then doesn't he have extra?
This is what Potom does very well. Oh, we need to set up a grid like a search pattern. Give me just a moment. And in the dirt, with several scraps of paper and rock and moss landmarks drawn in a sand table like format, he sets up a plan.
All right, and it is a very good plan. So here's how we're going to go about this. You've got a clear plan of how to most efficiently use the four of you to find the sort of little habitat or ecosystem that you're looking for. So collectively, I want you each to tell me. Each of you is going to do a roll, and I want you to pick what skill you're going to roll and tell me why that skill is what your character would be using to contribute to this effort. So where does your character fit into Potom's brilliant plan? What are they contributing, and what skill are you rolling because of that?
If Freya were to roll an athletics check, could it be something like she's climbing mangroves and like trying to see ahead or something like that? Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so Potom assigns Freya to be the eyes in the sky, and so she's going to be climbing up every tall thing that she can find to get eyes on things. So you can roll at advantage your
Sweet.
athletic check because of Potom's amazing plan.
Okay, that was 12 plus 4, so 16. Or 8. 16.
16. Okay, very good. Air, what are you doing to help?
Air is investigating the environment around her to look for clues and make deductions based on those clues about what may have changed recently in this environment, in this
Okay.
region.
Or looking for stomping hordes of, evidence of stomping hordes of ghouls.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything unusual.
Anything shady.
All right, so roll at advantage.
Mm-hmm. 15.
Okay. Pando.
Pando's gonna roll nature because she's gonna pay close attention to the like supernature things and the unnatural things, in contrast to what she's so familiar with her nature skill.
All right, roll at advantage.
19.
Nice. Okay. So with those rolls, hang on.
Does Potom also get a role in this, or was it just his master plan?
Your roll was the master plan.
Okay.
Um,
Don't be greedy. It's a Dan Dick overline.
that's right.
Yep, yeah, that is straight up Dan. Bad karma. Don't be greedy.
Okay. All right. So, with your sort of powers combined, you get a pretty good sense of the lay of the land. With Freya looking from up above, and Air and Pando sort of comparing notes on signs of movement or activity in the area, and Pando kind of getting a sense of the ebb and flow of the nature around here. And you manage to dial in pretty well, to the extent that you, before the sun sets, find yourself looking at a very large grove of these trees. But the sun is setting behind the ridge, or behind the trees in front of you. Sun sets in the west. So up ahead of you, the sun is setting behind these trees and is starting to grow dark. You can hear out there in the darkness, under the canopy of these trees, a wide array of sounds, but among them you do hear sort of a deep belching croak that emerges from time to time that sounds toad-like, and actually it starts to pick up in frequency as the sun sets. So wherever they are, these guys are serenading the setting sun out there.
Perfect.
Also, the swarms of biting flies are becoming rather intense as the sun sets in this area. So I'm going to ask all four of you to make a Constitution saving throw as one of these swarms passes over you.
Come on, I have a +5. Ah,
I made a 20.
9.
11.
Okay. Potom.
Bottom comes in at 23.
Jesus.
23. All right, so Potom and Pando, you take no damage, but you are grossed out
Yeah.
by the many, many bugs.
Oh, what the hell is that? Oh,
Freya's very
Fine.
surprised because she does have scales, you know.
Well,
so what the
They
heck?
get into the soft
I
areas.
do.
Each of you is going to take 5 points of piercing damage from the biting flies.
Okay.
yeah, they crawl right up underneath
Some
those
nasty
scales.
bugs.
They are nasty.
They somehow burrow under my scales.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Lift you up.
dense clouds of these biting
Dang.
insects.
No bueno.
All right, so you think you've found where you want to be. So the question is, are you pushing on in the dark into the trees, or are you posting up here? What's the
Well, we don't have a way
What's the
to
plan?
capture the frogs and keep them fresh
Right,
while we
right.
venture on, right?
And now
So
we know,
where
where
they are. That was our goal of this.
and when we can catch them.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Nighttime with all these lovely bugs.
okay? So
and
what
how long did it take us to get there? That was
A day?
you've been on? It's
we
been
haven't rested yet.
you've not rested. It's been a full day since
Okay.
the morning
When we were
where you woke up.
So we know that from this point, when we come back, it's a day for us to get back to the witch's
The
place.
Shota.
Okay.
We won't be we'll be beelining it though. We're not
Right.
gonna be like investigating.
Because
so
now we
maybe it's a
know
little
too.
less than a day.
Yeah. So
Oh, you
Pando
naughty.
Pando didn't take any damage, and she's an elf that doesn't need to sleep very much, so she's gonna leave it to her companions to decide if they need some rest or if they want to continue on.
I mean, let's. It is dark. Let's sort of huddle up and
Sure.
and go and watch. Maybe you can do watch.
Yeah,
first
I'm
then.
happy to.
And we'll just rest up. You and I can. I mean, are there swarms of flies that are constantly around us now while we're right here?
Not constantly, but they do sweep through from time to time.
Okay.
They seem to be kind of, when I say swarms, I mean like a cloud the size of a school bus rolls across these swamps from time to time.
Okay.
And when it
Goes
passes
through.
close enough to like detect
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
warm-blooded things,
Mm-hmm.
it descends on you for a period of time until it moves on.
Is
So
there any
it
kind of
could be random
shelter?
encounters.
I mean, not like a house,
So-
but like
Caves.
like a cave or something.
You can search.
A Hilton.
Can I do an
There's a handsome
invest-
man, but not.
Can I do an investment?
While Pando is doing that, I have in real life I have a device that keeps fighting creatures away from me.
Ooh.
And in the game, I can do magical tinkering that and create several different devices. One that emits a fragrance.
Okay.
Is there a fragrance that we know of, that's like citronella, that might keep these flies away?
Well, why don't you maybe you and Panda would work together on something like that? I'd allow you to make Panda a nature check and Potom I guess just an intelligence check, whatever check you make for your tinkering.
Sure.
I got a 7 on her nature check.
I'm gonna just do a straight up intelligence check on this one
Mm-hmm.
with Pando's advice, and
Got an 18.
that's an 18.
Okay.
Can I also be investigating for shelter?
Yep. So with an 18 intelligence check,
4.
you are smart enough to know that Pando's 7 on a nature check, that Pando doesn't really know how to give you any guidance in making a fragrance that would drive away biting flies. You could experiment and try something and make your best guess, but you're smart enough to know that you would just be guessing.
Okay. So I would imagine that would be a nature check on my own then, right? If
Yeah.
I was going to make my best guess.
Yeah.
Huh?
Thanks for that, Freya. It's so yummy.
I told you. So
11.
when I went
11.
there.
Thank you.
All right. We'll come back to what happens as Potom sets up his citronella fogger
I love it.
in just a little bit. But what did you roll for searching for a shelter?
4.
A 4.
With it, that was
Not so
like with my
good.
boost.
Yeah, we don't need to bludgeon this one to death. You don't find any
No.
shelter. And as you're poking around looking for some kind of a cave or rocks that could provide a little shelter or a hollow tree or something like that, Potom sets up a little device that starts chugging out smoke, basically. And
I just as I see this happening, as Potom is working on this, I imagine that Pando comes up behind him and kind of like wraps her hand around him, and he's like, "I'm not a shelter."
the device that Potom sets up doesn't seem to keep the flies away, but it does. It doesn't smell bad, so that's good, and it doesn't
attract the fly.
It doesn't attract the flies necessarily, but it just seems to generally cover the whole area in a thin layer of smoke, scentless smoke.
It's not one of your best.
So much for Eastern
gadgets.
medicine.
I mean, you can't win them all, Potter.
Mm-mm.
All right. So, y'all are gonna rest for the night.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, who's taking first watch?
I will take first watch.
All right, Pando. First watch is yours. I need you to roll a perception check.
13.
Okay. All right, you keep your eyes peeled. Nothing of immediate danger approaches, but late into the night, you hear another of these swarms of flies coming near you.
Okay.
They don't get quite close enough, it seems, to detect you because you are not attacked by the
Wonderful.
flies this time, but they definitely passed close to you as you
Freya
rested.
hides as much as she can under her shield and
Yeah.
scoops up a little
How big are
mud.
they?
They're gross big.
I bet they didn't attack us because my device is working.
I did it.
Mm-mm.
All right, who's taking a second watch?
Air will take a second watch.
Okay. Then Air, roll a perception check for me, please.
19.
19. Okay. Air keeps an eagle eye out.
She doesn't like bugs.
Yeah, fair.
Just like, ew.
But the rest of the night passes without incident. You definitely hear some splish splashing back among the trees that could possibly be big fat toads. You hear more of their sort of chorus of noises, especially as the sun just starts to rise towards the end of your watch. But nothing hostile
Nice.
approaches you. And you all wake early in the morning. The dawn light. You did not sleep comfortably. It's gross out here. So you are eager to get up and get dry and get moving again.
Was that considered a long rest?
Yep.
Sweet. I like it. Freya wakes up. Ah, I feel pretty good. I do like to sleep covered in some mud.
She do this more often.
I should do this more
Oh,
often.
and your skin looks great.
Thank you.
It's radiant.
Yeah, it's like youthful.
All right. So on the morning of the
I
21st,
feel like I'm melting.
on the morning of the 21st day, you get started.
Ah, day 21.
I know.
3 weeks.
I know.
3 whole weeks since we saw her.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe someone else is problem at some point, right?
I don't think.
It's
I've been
probably
along that
I'm
assumption
sure
this
that they're
entire
just
time.
somebody else is just gonna take care of this.
Right? If we wait long
They
enough.
took care of it the first time. They can take care of it again.
there's probably
the
some mythical heroes out there roaming around the world.
Probably better
Could
than
be.
us.
Good.
Yeah, we're skilled
we,
than us.
They're
We're
probably-
getting pretty good.
They're probably fighting monsters, leveling up, gathering
Yeah.
magical gear. They could.
Not
They'll
us.
be good
running
for this.
around. Yeah.
Are we
running like bugs.
what do are we rolling like searching checks again?
Well, I need to understand better what your next strategy is.
We're
You
still
found
we're
where the toads live.
Oh, I thought we were generally surveying to try to find some ghouls or some higher activity.
I honestly, I feel like I've lost the thread on what we're doing.
Yeah, right.
I thought we were getting.
You all made a
Frogs.
plan to get to the toads, and you got to the toads.
Oh, well, I just thought we
But
were
now, are
going
you putting a
in.
pin in this toads thing?
We're putting a pin in it. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do exactly what we did yesterday. We know where the toads are. We can get the toads. Let's look for evidence of change because that's what we came in here for. That's priority number one.
I agree.
Fire toads are priority number two.
I
So
agree.
let's set up a plan.
Okay.
Let's keep looking at
Search
the grid
for
pattern. I
change.
say we look for ghouls. Any evidence of ghouls? Any evidence of where they could be coming from? Let's track something back. Let's.
Okay,
The great thing about
You
ghouls
got
is that they find you.
Right.
they are handy in that way.
Yeah.
All right, so you are searching for evidence of undead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so I would imagine that Potom would set up the search plan again.
Okay.
Okay. So we roll our things.
And that is a 20, not a natty 20, but a 20 nonetheless.
Okay.
And that's a 21, an 18, and 3.
Okay.
We're repeating
Oh,
this-
no, 4. 22.
Are we just repeating the same
Same
technique?
thing?
Yes, but not at advantage this time
Oh,
around.
okay. Well, 20.
Okay. Mm. That's a 19 plus whatever hers. So, so very effective this time
24.
around.
You guys, we're really good at searching for shit.
We are. Thanks for the plan. Good leadership.
So you head off from the fire swamp and you start executing your plan, sort of searching and different quadrants that you've delineated on a map that you're now developing of this area of the wound. And over the course of the day, you manage to, you think, pretty effectively investigate an area that's probably four to 6 square miles. You do pretty well. But as the day is drawing on, you really have found, in this area at least, very little evidence of any sort of undead of any kind passing this way. You do spot some things. So you spot a number of what you believe are harpies flying in the distance. Most of the harpies are flying over the more wooded area that was to the south of you. But you see flights of them kind of going by in what look like groups of 5 to 7. You see those several times during the day. You encounter but keep your distance from a variety of other kind of dangers here in the wound. Some giant snakes, some what look like sort of mutated giant rats that are hairless with bright pink eyes. All kinds of sort of gruesome things. There's lots of those swarms of biting flies around here. But after a full day, you've covered a lot of ground, and at least so far, you've not found any evidence of ghouls or other undead.
From the map that we are creating, is there and from the intelligence that we've gathered, is there a way for Potom to determine where sort of the heart of the wound is?
You could try to estimate that. It's pretty hard to do from the area that you've seen so far. But if you want to make an intelligence check, there's a fairly high DC for you to be successful at this.
Intelligence or an investigation check?
I think this is just straight up intelligence, because you're not investigating as in like looking at evidence specific, like you don't have a lot of evidence. You're trying to imagine how something you've never seen might look.
Even though there's 2 days of us sort of looking around, and Potom is kind of creating a map of the area.
I mean, let me remind you essentially what you're describing here.
Sure.
If you entered Yellowstone National Park in the West Yellowstone entrance on foot, and you walked around that area just inside the park for a day, and then after that, after hiking around and like really exploring the forest in that area of the park, you sat down and were like, I'm going to draw a map of Yellowstone.
Sure. Okay.
That's a pretty big lift.
Yep. I get that. All right, here we go. Straight up intelligence check. Yeah. 25.
Woo!
25.
You
He
smart.
is a smarty pants.
You're so smart.
He is very smart. All right,
You're
here's
like, yes, he's smart.
what I'm going to give you for this. So while Potom is not able to sit down and literally draw a map of the wound, what you are able to do is sort of triangulate based on how far you traveled to get to the Maib, your existing maps of the area outside of the wound, what you saw on your travels along the Teshiar River. And it's a lot, it gives you some scale of at least this side of the wound that you looked at. So you get a better estimate in your mind of, let's say, the distance from where you are right now. If you were to walk in a straight line from here to the other side of the wound where you first encountered the wound. So basically where Pando met that druid. And that gives you a better sense of the larger scope of the wound. And this doesn't give you like a direct beeline arrow to the center of the wound, but it does at least give you a general direction.
Okay.
So if you were trying to hit center mass without knowing how far away the other side of the wound is, so I guess what I'm telling you is you have much closer idea of a direction or a heading to take, but not of distance. So
Sure.
to get to the center might be 10 miles, it might be 100 miles, it might be 1,000 miles. You have no idea, but you do now know
Well,
it's
we know that it's not
generally
1,000
this
miles.
way.
We know it's not 1,000 miles, being that we've been on 3 different sides of this now.
We've
Two
kind
sides.
of, you've really been on two sides of it. So
Oh, I guess I thought that the school was on the north side of the wound.
the school is north and east of the wound.
Okay.
And
And we've been on the east side and we've been on the south side.
that's right. So you've been northeast and southeast of the wound.
Okay.
Can we estimate?
But
my
you also don't know what the overall shape of the wound is.
Truth.
It could be like a worm that extends all deep into the mainland for all you know. It's not necessarily a square.
I got you. Okay. My friends, I feel like we should go this way if we're going to find definitive proof on what we're looking for.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. All right. You set off on the morning of day 21. Oh, sorry. This is the morning of day 22.
Good Lord.
Almost got him.
Just roll here. 2. I'll go back to that.
20.
Ooh.
Not a natty 20.
Sorry, I was oohing my own roll.
I was like, it's not that great. I mean, 25 is better.
I have to do stupid math. Okay. Cool. Okay, so off you journey. I will need today a survival check from somebody and an investigation check from somebody
I got investigation.
and a perception check from somebody.
I can do perception +8.
We have
I'm
16 for
None of those.
13 plus 3 for our survival.
16 for survival.
Mhm.
Okay, so you stay largely on heading in your journey today.
We have 15 for perception.
15 for perception will affect how well you keep an eye out for danger. And our investigation check,
28.
28. All right, very good. Let's
Are we good at this game?
roll for encounters.
Today.
There we go.
Oh,
Seriously,
he's really good at this game too. So
Okay, so you get a full day of journey now heading directly deeper into the wound. You make good time on your journey today as you are, generally speaking, heading out of the swampy area. And though it's not any more pleasant in this part of the wound, though the ground is at least drier and more stable, and it's easier for you to pass. There's a lot of these sort of dead and scraggly trees and sort of dry, dead grasses and underbrush that you're getting into here. So you do make good time, seemingly. Potom, you are keeping a very close eye out for anything that might give you hints about whether you're heading in the right direction towards the center, or any signs or evidence of undead. And Pando, you're keeping an eye out for danger. The only real danger you encounter on this day of travel is another of these swarms of flies that sort of floods over you sort of early in the day. So I want everyone to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
13.
12.
Oh no. That's a natty 1, but it makes it a 6.
11.
11. Okay, well, everybody's going to enjoy some bites.
Just say you love it.
Everyone's going to enjoy some bites today. That's 8 points of piercing damage to everyone
Wow.
as these flies really get into you.
That's consistent damage.
This time.
Yeah.
It's
It's been a good chunk every time.
yeah, it's bad. There's a lot of them, and they're big.
And there's not a lot we can do about it.
Well, you haven't tried to do anything.
That is true.
No, that's
defense.
not true. Bottom has tried.
Yeah, Potom did try. Potom tried.
He
to
would
make
like
a
to
farm.
try again.
Freya's just gonna smear herself in mud. She's gonna try to
Yeah.
you know, like pace down her scales.
All right,
Nice.
Freya's going total
I like
predator.
Total
I
mud
like
bath.
it.
She's going.
Rambo style
Uh-huh.
Yep.
in the jungle.
Okay.
Bottom would like to try his fogger again.
Yeah, go
With
for
a
it. Try
different
another formulation.
Was that that was a nature check or an intelligence check?
Nature.
$23.
Okay. You tweak the formula, and this time, when you turn the fogger on, as you settle, we'll jump back into this what you notice on the trail with your investigation check here soon. But when you do finally settle into camp for the night, when Potom cranks up his fogger this time, a distinctly different scent rolls out from it. It is a little citrusy smelling, but it is very, it has a strong, like bitter chemical scent to it. And so it's a smell that none of you enjoy. It's a little harsh on your nose. But it does seem to keep the bugs off you. And so
Good job,
for
Potom.
tonight's rest, you will not be at risk of any bug bites. What I will tell you though, Potom, is something that you notice as you're journeying towards the end of your journey. You spot some footprints. So you've made it to an area where there seems to be sort of a path, like almost a game trail, but a little wider through the woods at this point. It's hard for you to tell if this is literally a game trail, like a place where animals and critters normally roam, or if this is something else. But after a little bit closer look as you're journeying along this trail, Potom, you catch some scuff marks, and then when you get a little closer in a slightly softer area of the path, you see a full-on boot print. And a little further up, you see the footprints of what look like several creatures walking or perhaps marching in line. And with a 25 or whatever you rolled,
57 or
with
whatever
a
it was.
72 investigation check. Um,
Because he has enough points from everything he rolls now to get over 20, no
Yeah.
matter what.
You get down low and take a really close look at this, and you see that it's not only booted feet, but also that a number of these feet are unbooted, but
Barefoot.
They're-
Or no,
Well-
maybe not.
maybe not. I mean, the most barefoot, I would say, that they are probably skeletal.
Or stumps.
Friends, look.
Potom shows you the footprints.
Oh yeah,
So would there
this
be-
one has rickets.
Bunions, really
Would there
bad
be
bunions on
anything
this
that
one.
Panda could pick up on? Not the intelligence side, but the nature side. Like everywhere we've gone so far, right? As she like encounters an animal, she's like, "Cool, now I can be you." But like nothing she's encountering here is anything she can take the shape of.
Want to be a toad?
So
I do.
well, so let me say that's not entirely true. So there are some natural animals here, but the ones that you have encountered, the ones that are quote unquote normal,
Yeah.
have been fairly sickly,
Yeah.
like not in great shape.
Okay.
Um,
Which doesn't affect my ability to potentially.
no,
Right.
no, but you're not seeing it. But those you haven't seen anything new necessarily, right?
And so nothing about this path or like these footprints or anything would stand out for Pando from a nature perspective.
Definitely not about these footprints.
Okay.
No, these are definitely some kind of humanoids
Okay.
that were, some of whom were wearing boots,
And some of whom were not even wearing skin.
and some of whom were not wearing skin or musculature.
Okay.
Um,
These ones are truly naked.
Seen a lot of that
you
lately.
I did mention earlier, you
Good
did
old
at one
Steve.
point see a giant constrictor snake.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
I think I've been it.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't remember what it was because you didn't love that day.
hmm
It's pretty cool. Snake. Pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's the only thing you've seen that really stands out as
Okay.
like anything shockingly different from
Sure.
what you've seen so far. You haven't seen fire toads yet.
We should
So
line
we've
up
only
in front
heard
of you
that.
the
Only
things
heard the
that you
fire
can turn into. So we'll just
I
make a
know,
little
right?
line
I
of
have them in my character sheets.
Oh,
I don't
good,
forget, but
All right, so at the end of this day of travel, you have you sort of found a trail
Mhm.
with some obvious tracks,
It's the best
and
we've got so far, though.
and you've got a
Right.
bug fogger.
That's also great. I think honestly, we're improving our situation.
Mhm.
Next
Uh,
day,
Keep it up.
day
Okay.
You
23.
got tracks to follow. Now Air's on board. She's like, now she has a clear, defined path forward here.
Ooh.
day 23.
A 20
Nothing today.
for athletics.
I'll roll investigation this time.
Okay.
Sounds good. Or survival. Oh, and
23.
should I roll a survival?
Oh, I'm so sorry. What are all the things that each person needs?
Pando, you can roll a survival.
Okay.
Air's more of a
Somebody else was rolling
girl, you
investigation.
know?
Right, right.
She's got
This
city-
is this
she's
is
a
just
city
getting
slicker.
old. This is
Yeah, Air
getting
rolled a
old.
nice high investigation.
All right.
Pando, how'd you do?
14.
14. Okay. All right. So, you.
I feel like Bottom is definitely there with Air. I guess I feel like Bottom would also like to roll the investigation check. So can I add advantage to his already really great roll?
I mean, if you want. So Potom's just like standing next to you, just mansplaining the whole process
That's
of
That is exactly what he's doing.
reading the tracks.
He's like, well, make sure that you're looking for this as well.
Yeah, excellent.
I think it's thematically appropriate that the first roll is 23 and the second roll is 9. after the mansplaining.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So So Air's doing great, following this trail really, really effectively. And then Potom comes up and starts telling her all about all the things that she's already doing and some of the theoretical backdrop to why that works and, you know, other contexts where skills like this could be useful
Bottom.
and his own experience with it and some of the successes he's had.
Air just grits her teeth.
Yeah.
Yep,
And she
that's-
manages to focus even through that and still keep a close eye on the trail. So what you notice today is
A
that
well-rounded character has unsavory bits to them.
yeah. What you notice today more clearly, that was hard to tell the first time you saw these tracks, is that the direction that this group, and you're now more confident that it was a group, the direction this group was or is heading is actually back the way you came. So it seems clear to you, Air, that you are heading back along the trail from which this group came, rather than following them.
Perfect.
Okay.
But that's good, right? Because that would be their origin.
Yeah.
That we're
I
heading
I think
suppose,
we're
yeah.
looking at that.
Potentially.
That's where we want to go.
It's
Um,
your origin.
You also get a pretty good look out ahead of you from Freya getting up to the top of some of these trees. And you can see out ahead of you that the land, the terrain starts to descend out ahead of you. So it's you're getting lower and lower over time, and it starts to get fairly steeply lower out ahead of you. You can see that the train kind of dips, as if you're descending into a very broad pit. And Pando, as you're kind of keeping an eye out here, we're gonna see if you have any encounters today. Ooh. Indeed you do.
Ay.
Hey, we got pretty lucky so far.
Yeah, we have.
Not really having anything serious.
Yeah.
So real.
Yeah, the wound's it's not been that dangerous considering it's called a wound.
Yes.
Yeah, we never even had any fire in the fire swamp, quicksand or anything.
We didn't even
Just
go
walked right
into
through.
the fires.
I thought
We
we
were-
were walking
No,
around.
we were.
We
on-
haven't gone into the fire swamp yet.
That's
Like,
right.
I thought we.
That's the
walked
fire
through it.
swamp with the toads and the stuff, and then we just moved on. Oh, I wasn't pointing at anything. I was just
Yeah,
like gesturing.
I'm like,
We were like, where?
I was just gesturing. Right there.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I like the amphibians of unusual size.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm excited to see them.
Alright, hang on, where's my thing? Here we go.
Just for a time check, I'll have to leave it like 10 to 5 because I have a call at 5.
All good.
30 minutes.
Putting it out there.
So we're on the 30-minute countdown.
Okay, then I'm gonna switch my screen share here, and we're gonna get into some shit. Maps.
Oh wait, have we had a long rest since getting bitten last time?
No.
Oh yeah, we did.
Didn't we? Because
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Because we, yeah,
Because it
because we got bit and then we had a long rest.
So we
almost
can
right
get rid of
after.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, since getting bit the second time, no. Oh, sorry.
That's what I was asking.
Oh, I thought you meant the first time. I'm sorry.
No,
Well,
it's okay.
I apologize.
No, that's okay.
To
So we
that's
still
fine.
have the
I
8
thought
points of
so, yeah.
damage.
That's right.
Okay. But not at least the first and
8
second
points of
bite.
damage to you is a lot.
It's a lot, but I can be a burr.
A burr.
I'll
Yeah.
just be a burr.
I'll just be a burr.
Fine.
Don't worry about
When
it.
I
Guys,
get real
guys.
damage, I'm like, I'll just be a burr.
Guys,
I'm
I'll
just
just
gonna,
be a
just
burr.
gonna be
I'll
a
just
burr.
be a burr.
I like bears.
All right. Do we use the maps feature again? Let's see. What's new in maps? Let's Let's see.
Maybe more than 2 tokens.
That would be great. If we
Seriously.
could, if we could go ahead and do that.
Nickel and diming us here at D&D.
All right, upload my map.
Now our faces are huge.
Swamp.
Really
I got
huge.
a fancy new swamp map I want to use.
Alex has no face.
I know. Yeah, I was just wondering, he's like, I gotta get more comfortable. He takes off his clothes.
He's doing nude dude
That's
Steve.
it.
All right.
Oh,
old.
Steven. Steven's so nude.
Got jealous.
I'm not naked. I'm not naked. And I'm also happy that that's part of the podcast.
Truth.
I started listening this morning and I'm like, oh, this is all really familiar. I got like a half hour in before I realized it was the session I was also playing.
Oh, that's really
'Cause
funny.
sometimes we sound alike when I'm listening to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All right, y'all, I've invited you to the session
Okay.
of the maps session, if you remember how to get in there.
Up on the.
Ooh, overlays.
Is it up by the picture? No.
I feel like it's somewhere in
Yeah, there's like a play button.
A button. Try refreshing here.
Yeah.
It's a cool map.
Yeah, swampy.
Where was your play button?
It's like at the top of if you're at your character sheet,
Mm-hmm.
in the top
Okay.
right hand corner it says campaign,
Ah.
tell us east, and then it has a play button next to it.
Got it.
Thank you. I kept saying the YouTube icon.
Okay. So,
These look like angry beasts.
yeah, they're
A
angry.
displacer
mad.
beast.
So as you come into a swampier area of the path, you hear a low growl emanating from a wooded area ahead. And shortly afterwards, you hear another matching growl echoing from a different direction. And you look up to see ahead of you, prowling low, what looks to be a massive panther with two sort of waving tentacles emerging from its shoulder blades, hovering over the top of its head, its eyes glowing gently yellow as it stalks towards you. And off to your right, you hear a similar growl, though you cannot see the creature just yet. I need everyone to roll for initiative.
These are pretty nasty. These are
Have you played against them before?
this is kind of
4.
a classic
I also have,
Is that its
And-
official name, Displacer Beast?
Mm-hmm. All right, so Freya with a 4.
Oh, I don't have my Facebook.
Here has 11.
I'm 14.
Air with 11. Panda with a 14.
bottom with a 9.
Bottom with a 9.
I feel like our tokens are too small.
Lucky umbrella.
Maybe not. Well, I guess we'll just put them in the center of the
Animated armor is the.
Logistical rule, can I summon my
Yeah.
Fae and then wild shape into a bear and my Fae will still be out?
Yeah, once
Once it's
your
out.
summons, as long as it's not a concentration spell, I think your summons are just fine.
It's concentration up to 1 hour.
Oh, it is a concentration
Yes.
spell. I don't
So I still have to be in.
think wild shape breaks
No,
concentration.
I think, didn't we look at this?
We did, and I don't remember what we
I
landed
think,
on.
I think it doesn't.
That I can bring it out and then I
You
can.
follow the same rules as concentration, but I don't think it breaks it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we can figure out in just a second.
It's like that one piece of it that I always forget. I can still wild
It
shape.
doesn't affect you.
Okay, I'm gonna make that. in
Wild
my
shape
notes.
doesn't interrupt your concentration.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think so.
Okay, so because Pando was paying attention, not the greatest perception roll, but good enough to prevent you from being surprised by these creatures that have been stalking you for some time. You are going to get into this battle, and Pando, you actually act first. So
Okay.
initiative is true to the canon here because you spotted them and you react
And I said,
immediately.
oh my god, and I summon my fae.
All right. Let me give you a little,
We're all like,
a little fey here.
All of a sudden you guys are like, huh?
Oh yeah, will you also throw the exocomp in there, Matt?
He's
oh,
on
it's
there as an animated armor.
armor.
Oh, I gotcha.
Oh.
I don't know why that's called an astral elf star priest, but I really like it. That's
Weird.
Oh,
her. That's
fine.
actually her name. That's the name of the fae that you've
Yes.
summoned.
Astral
Hey,
elf
it's me,
star priest.
astral elf
She's like-
star priest.
She's also a little like apathetic. She's
Yeah.
always like, hi.
I mean, I
hi,
guess
we're here. Okay, fine.
it's pretty swampy, but
And even like as
Why
she
did you
hovers, it's just kind of like a.
Why did you summon me? I
lazy
had a
hover.
cake in the oven.
Right.
Damn it.
And as she like flies, she's like, mm.
I could have helped you with that bug spray by using these natural elements.
I brought
You're
essential
using
oils
those
from the
chemicals.
Feywild.
She just like smells of peppermint.
It's got an infuser
And patchouli.
or diffuser.
Let's
That she holds while she's fighting.
Yes.
She's actually very powerful, but she's
Yeah.
like, whatever.
All right, you have summoned a fae to assist you. So that is your turn. You're going to move it all on your turn?
No.
Okay. And
Is it the phase turn right away then? Is that how that works?
I think so. I think she goes immediately.
Choose your initiative, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. Yes.
Yeah.
And how many hit points does your little
12.
beastie
Oh,
have?
sorry. 30 plus 10 for each spell level above third, so just 30.
30.
Mm-hmm. Armor class 12.
Great.
Plus the level of spell.
Plus the level of spell or plus the level of spell beyond 3?
It says 12 plus the level of spell natural.
Okay, so 15.
I don't think I've seen it explained that way.
Natty
before.
armor.
Natty armor.
Okay,
I like it.
your Faye is now in the initiative order and it is her turn.
Great. Sorry. I'm just
You
writing
go,
this
Star Priest.
down. He's like, fine.
Excuse me, it's Astral
God.
Elf Star Priest.
Please address me by my full name.
Okay. So, melee attack, your spell attack modifier to hit each 5 feet 1 target. 1d6 plus 3 plus the spell's level piercing damage plus. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Plus, 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 all the things.
plus Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's here now.
He's on your side.
Always has been,
He's on
man.
our side.
This has been, there was
I don't actually know how to
there's one set of
roll
footprints.
that out.
You wait,
To-
what again?
Sorry.
Also, I was just gonna comment that you can use your bonus action to like do one of those things too, such as face step. You can magically teleport.
Isn't it after hers, or does it happen
No, you can do
before?
it-
I can do it anytime.
You can do it in either order. It's just
Okay.
those are bonus actions and those are
So
actions.
fuming. So her bonus action fuming, the Fae has advantage on the next attack roll. Makes
Right.
it before the end of this turn.
Great.
yeah. So you can do any one of
And
those.
then I just do the
Then
roll
to
20.
Hit is, hit 1d6 plus 3
Seems
plus
strange.
spell's level.
Which she can reach the displacer beast to the right
Okay.
with her movement. So is that
With
where
her
you wanna
melee.
go?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Wait. Okay. I don't know why I'm like. why
It's
I'm,
no,
like,
this is
deciphering
actually I swear this is complicated.
melee weapon attack. Okay, your spell attack modifier to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so it's just d20 plus your spell attack modifier.
Right.
Okay, and then okay, yeah, then hit 1d6.
Force damage.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 1d6 plus 3 plus spells level.
So 1d6 plus 6.
Okay.
Because it's a level 3 spell, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
well, yeah. Well, first you just roll a d20 and then add.
To even just see. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to write out these instructions so that they make much more sense to me in the future, and I don't have to keep looking at it like that. 17,
Plus 3,
20.
so 20.
Okay. Roll again.
Oh no, sorry, it's actually 22 because you're. Oh no, sorry, it's spell attack is, is plus
Plus
8.
8, so
Oh my
that's
god,
what we
I'm
use.
like yeah, it's 25.
Okay.
Sweet.
Roll again to attack. You're rolling at disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, that's disappointing.
And is this my 1d6?
No, you roll another. You just
Still
roll the
20.
same thing again.
Funny.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help.
No problem.
I find this to be very complicated.
It is.
So then it's 16.
plus 8.
Yeah.
So 24 for the second.
Very good. That hits.
Okay, now let's look at
Now
that.
it's the 1d6.
If it didn't,
It's
I'm
like- but it's more than
extremely
that.
scared.
It's
Right.
It's more than just 1d6. It's 1d6.
Oops, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
So 1d6 plus 3 plus the spells. So 1d6 plus 6
Mm-hmm.
plus 1d6 force damage.
Yeah. Okay. That's
That's
exactly.
the-
So it's 1d6 plus 3 plus spells level. So it's 1d6
Plus 6. Yeah.
piercing damage. But then in addition to that, it's
Then in
another
addition-
1d6.
So it's 2d6 plus 6.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if the type damage matters or not.
So then do I just hit this twice?
Yep. And then roll that
Plus 6.
plus 6.
9.
All right.
I'm
Nice.
gonna type that out in a way that makes sense to my head. Because that's complicated.
All right, the second displacer beast takes 9 points of damage from your Fae, who seems to see right through the illusion that it is projecting. So, Pando, you watch this happen, but the astral elf star priest floats over, and rather than swinging her diffuser at the displacer beast, swings about an attack about 3 feet to the right of the creature into open space, but then strikes something, at which point the illusion that the displacer beast naturally projects next to itself vanishes as the creature takes a wound and staggers back, and you can now see where the creature actually is standing.
That's
About-
scary.
Oh yeah, they're fucking terrifying. These are terrifying creatures.
That's scary.
But it has now appeared, and you can see where it actually is for now. Air, you're up next.
So is there any indication of where it is then before you strike? I'm sorry, I didn't totally.
I didn't know that
part.
it was an illusion
It's
either,
like,
like
yeah.
a projection of itself.
So, yeah, so displacer beasts naturally appear where they are not.
Okay.
And so you roll for a beast that is in displacement, in active displacement, you roll at disadvantage. Your attacks are rolled at disadvantage.
Got it.
Once it's struck, that effect is gone for a short period of time.
Okay.
They're in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, actually.
Yeah, and they did an excellent job with them.
And it was delightful.
Yeah.
And
Air, you're up.
not to plug Dungeons and Dragons, please don't sponsor us.
It was so delightful. You wanted to take it home and snuggle it.
It was some excellent CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Air's going to do the very boring turn of cast Armor of Agathos.
Armor of Agathos, okay. You gonna move?
And I will be moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgot that you give away diagonals for free.
Mm-hmm. I'm very generous.
You are.
All right.
That's it.
Next up are the displacer beasts.
Oh,
So the one right in front of Air is going to pounce forward
Do it. I dare you.
and
I dare you.
I dare you.
It's going to pounce forward and make 2 attacks with its tentacles. First attack air is a natty 20.
What the hell?
Yeah, that was a good one. The second attack is a 5 + 6 is 11.
Why can't it be more like that?
Thinking that will miss. So you are going to enjoy.
Remember, I'm immune to magical sleep.
8. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. 8 plus.
We'll help you remember.
That's going to be 24 points
What
of
the-
damage.
Damn.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It takes 15 points of frost damage.
Ah, indeed it does. Nice,
Sweet.
nice, well-timed armor of Agathis.
What'd you say it was? 24?
24.
Oh my god.
But you have some temporary hit points there, right?
Well, yeah.
To burn
but,
through.
I mean, emphasis on burn
Right.
through.
Oh, did I forget to mention you guys wandered into a deeply corrupted, extremely dangerous zone where the random encounters might be over-leveled for you?
Shit.
If you were in a video game, this part of the
Be highlighted or
world
something.
would have like big red exclamation points over every enemy.
Mm.
Sweet.
I'm glad
Yeah,
my
I'm
very apathetic phase here.
We are the group that almost got killed by rats.
Yeah. So the second displacer,
That is
love it
true.
So much.
second displacer beast is going to attack Astral Elf Star Priest.
Oh,
That is an 11 to hit. which
Oh,
is
are
not
you
hit.
attacking me?
And then the second
Ew.
is a 19 to
Ew.
hit.
Don't.
19 will hit.
That will hit.
That is 10 plus 3, 13
Ouch, that
points.
really
Okay.
hurt.
13 points of damage to Astral Elf Star Priest.
Okay.
You messed up my nails.
And at the end of its turn, you see it phase back out and appear once again off center as it regains its displacement. Patimfar.
Fantastic. All right.
Cold blast, the one that air did it?
No.
Mm.
It only disrupts when a successful attack is landed.
Mm.
And the Armor of Agathis is a reactive damage. It's not an attack.
Mm. Okay.
Only the armor.
So
It's awesome that works.
it's understood that Potom rides in the Steel Defender until he's ready to deploy, right?
Yep.
So he's riding the Steel Defender at the moment.
Yep.
And so the Steel Defender is going to go first. And that will be. Oh wait, I'm trying to move on the wrong map. Sorry, hang on. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3,
Each squares.
4,
Okay.
5, and 6 is there. 2. And Panem will eject him. I'm sorry. To end the Steel Defender's turn, the Steel Defender is holding to receive instruction.
Okay.
Panem will now eject himself for a hammer attack, and he's going to eject himself straight into the Displacer Beast.
All right.
Ooh.
So straight out of the Steel Defender into the Displacer Beast for a.
Okay, make your
Okay.
attack. Make your attack at disadvantage.
Are we all doing that?
When they're displaced, you will.
Okay.
28's very good.
Get him.
11 is not.
Oh, yeah.
No, 11 is not good.
So Potom launches out of the Steel Defender, hammer swinging mightily. It looks like Thor being thrown by Hulk, but he passes right through the image of the displacer beast and lands face first in the swamp on the other side, having attacked the illusion of the displacer beast. Unsuccessful.
And I imagined taking bludgeoning damage.
Well, I mean, is there an actual mechanic to this ejection you were talking about, or is that just
No,
that you've written down?
he just jumps off of it, but like full hammer swinging. I mean, you know what? Don't give me damage.
I mean, you can if you want.
I'm gonna just shut up. I'm gonna shut up.
Request all the damage you want.
Why am I arguing these rules? That's dumb.
Because you love Order of Flame, and you know, with the fairness of the game.
In Potam's confusion of falling flat on his face, he's going to command the exocomp to attack.
Okay.
And that will be. Oh, hang on 1 second. Let me just pull up the. It's my proficiency. That's what he gets added to his attack. All right.
Oh, you're good.
So,
Yeah, I got one.
20. That's a 20. 17 plus 3.
Okay, you rolled at disadvantage.
That was. Oh no, I did not roll at disadvantage. God damn it. I definitely am making this podcast PG-13.
I've had a couple where there were a lot of F-bombs.
That's right.
You're good.
Yeah, that train.
Yeah.
No,
The
a
steel,
6.
the steel defender's optical sensors are also fooled by the displacer beast. Mm.
You never worked right since I rebuilt you.
Freya.
And that's it. Oh, so wait. Potam is on the other side of the displacer beast.
That's right.
4.
All right, so now they work at advantage because it's flanked on
Where is it?
all sides by Freya. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got that one surrounded pretty good.
Okay.
While Pando distracts the second one with Astral Elf Star Priest.
I am going to rage.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And then I am going to attack with my sword. Kind of yeah.
As you pull your sword free, you hear immediately the voice of Asmund Kimba in your mind as he calls out, "Yes! Blood for the blood god!"
I thought he was gonna shout something like, "You doubted my existence."
Hold on a second.
I am here. What more do you need? What more proof do you need?
Right, so it is plus 7, so 17.
Okay, roll again.
Oh yeah. Even though we're flanked, how does it work if it's flanked?
Oh, that's right.
So just 17?
Yeah.
So you're at advantage, so straight up 17. That hits.
Okay. Sweet. I can't figure this one out. Well, oh, that's the. I'll just do it like this. 10 points of damage.
10. Alright, very good. As Freya's sword slashes into this displacer beast, its illusion once again shatters, and all
I'm
of
sorry,
you.
it's 12 because I have on strength, which I will stop
Mhm.
forgetting to add.
Nice.
Sorry.
That was good. The displacer beast appears, its illusion shattered temporarily by Freya's attack. Anything else from you, Freya? Bonus action, anything like that?
No, I get a second attack.
All right, go for it. This one you will roll at advantage.
Excellent. Let's see here. Where's my? I'm gonna use my Morning Star. Now that I can. Oh, 16.
16 hits.
9, 11.
Never forget.
Never forget.
All right. Success. Pando,
Excellent.
Okay.
you're up.
So Pando is gonna throw. Wait, let me do my math again. Make sure I did that right. 10, 15. Oh yes. She's gonna throw her flaming sphere at the displacer beast that my elf is currently verbally assaulting.
Question, is Flaming Sphere a concentration spell?
One action
is.
VS. Yes. So I mean I can't do it because I have the fairy out.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
cast
Do-
Flaming Sphere, she will disappear.
I don't
One or
want
the
that.
other.
Thank you so very much. Mm, mm. Okay. Then I think I'm probably best useful if I turn into a bear, because I have a lot of concentration stuff.
A bear.
I'm gonna wild shape into a bear.
All right, that's a bonus action for you.
It
Because
is.
you're all Circle of the Moon, so you can go do other stuff.
Holla.
So can I throw I mean I don't know how much damage I'll do, but can I throw it in let me see if it's concentration. It's not. It's a cantrip. Can I throw infestation? And then as my bonus, wild shape?
Sure.
Let me do that so I can at least try to do some damage.
Do it.
Do I have
Tell
to roll a
me
disadvantage 2D?
tell me how infestation works.
Oh, infestation is really gross. It's a cantrip and it's instantaneous. And as long as it's at the end of 30 feet, I cause a cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites. Target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. It takes 1d6 poison and moves 5 feet in a random direction. If it can move,
All right, a Constitution save by the Displacer Beast.
16.
That is a 15. So it fails. So
Oh,
you do,
no.
do your damage.
Those flies
Well-
are against us.
12 points
yes,
of bug damage.
they're really gross.
Yeah, that is
There's
gross.
so much coming at them. And then I'm also gonna
This
be
is a very
bear.
buggy area, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it felt
Extra
appropriate.
Mhm.
Super effective.
And I'm not going to wait. I can't move because that was my bonus.
No, you can still move. You get a movement and action and a bonus action every turn.
I'm just gonna move ever so slightly. Right there.
All right, very good. Astral Elf Star Priest. It's your turn.
Okay. I wrote down the
Get
direction
it.
this time, so hopefully.
Don't blow it up.
Okay, so I want to do her bonus action first,
Okay.
which is. Get off my screen.
Are you picking the same one where she rolls at advantage?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Then against this Displacer Beast, that means her attack is just going to be a straight roll.
Okay,
Because you have disadvantage and advantage.
so now we've canceled it
canceled
out,
it out.
and so now I'm
It's
just
just a regular attack.
just a regular attack. So, do I still have to do the d20?
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
it doesn't cancel that. It's just okay. So 18 plus 8.
Definitely hits.
Okay,
Nice.
and then 2d6 plus 6.
Mhm.
11.
11. All right. Very good. Another solid hit against the Displacer Beast, which is now once again visible. So currently both Displacer Beasts are visible where they
I'm just
are.
gonna send a text real quick. For a bullet.
Air, you're up.
You're like, I just gotta kill this displacer beast.
I'm literally gonna say that.
Mhm.
This is my broker, and she's also a friend.
So close to slaying this mythical
I'm a
beast.
battle.
Just
Eric is gonna, as a bonus action, cast Curse. And then she's gonna kind of risk it for the biscuit here
ooh,
and just wail on him instead of doing anything defensive.
love it.
Yes.
This will be at advantage because the beast is visible and flanked.
Excellent. Oh, oops. mistakes. Hey, even I'm making mistakes here. Here, that was supposed. I rolled damage instead of attacking. So 19 plus 9, 28.
It's gonna
Then
hit.
you said it was advantage.
It is
so
at advantage, so you might as well.
roll for the. Nope.
All right. Well, that is a hit.
10 plus 6 plus 3, so 19.
Ooh,
Nicely done.
that's a big old hit.
And I'm going to attack again.
Okay, do it.
23. Should I roll again?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I guess I might as well. 23.
23 hits.
11.
11. All right. While the beast is visible, Air takes advantage and wades in, slashing, chops deeply into one of the tentacles, hacks off a bunch of the wicked-looking teeth on the end of it, and then plunges her sword deep into the beast's side, and it reels back, now breathing with sort of a rattling breath, as you seem to have punctured one of its lungs.
Oh, actually, it's more damage because I rolled a 19 and curse. It's changes a 19 to a critical hit.
Oh,
So it's actually.
Oh, sweet.
Is it just? It's just weapon damage, full weapon plus all the modifiers though. For the critical.
so what we do for the critical is you get
The
max
normal roll.
damage,
Yeah.
and then you re-roll the dice
Yeah.
and add that.
And add the mod.
Don't add the modifiers again.
Okay. So then it's just plus 10 more. So another 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, so she plunges her tarnished longsword hilt deep into the side of this thing,
Nice.
and the creature takes a rattling breath as it staggers back and sort of whimpers a bit.
This beast has gotten heir to like the lowest health value in a long time.
Mhm. And it's still alive,
Yeah.
but it is very badly wounded. Good news for the creature is it is now the Displacer Beast's turn. This Displacer Beast knows that it is not currently displaced, so it is not going to flee. It is going to attack. And it is going to attack.
Yeah, if it tried to flee, it would get 3 attacks of opportunity.
Yeah,
Right.
it would be bad.
It can attack me.
It's going to attack air, yeah.
I'm
So
not
two
afraid. I mean,
two
I'm afraid,
attacks.
Yeah.
The first
I'm afraid.
is a 20, not natural. That is going to do
It's gonna leave a mark.
10 points
Oh,
of
thank God.
damage. And then the second attack, with its other tentacle, is a 17. Does that hit?
That's ties. So ties go to the.
So that hits. And that is going to be, ooh, that's low,
Good.
7 points of damage.
Okay.
And then at the end of its turn, it regains its displacement. So it is once again offset. And then the other Displacer Beast, hearing its mate in distress, is going to, I think, risk the attack of opportunity from Astral Elf Star Priest. And it's going to race to the defense of its mate. And it is going to attack Freya.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll an attack of opportunity for Astral Elf Star Priest?
Okay. Sorry, I went to my monster screen. 1 sec.
And this will just be a straight roll because the creature is still not displaced.
Just a regular old D20.
Mm-hmm.
$18.
Okay, that does hit. So 2d6 plus 6.
$15.
These critters, they're in trouble. All right, the Displacer Beast is attacking Freya with one of its tentacles that is an 18 to hit.
It hits.
That's going to be 8 points of damage, halved because you're raging, so 4 points of damage. And then the second attack is a 16 to hit.
It hits.
Okay, that's going to be 9 points of damage, so halved is another 4 points of damage. And at the end of its turn, the beast displaces once again. Potom, you're up.
It's the one, the lower displacer beast that is displaced.
They're both displaced now.
Oh, always. Okay. Well, with that, I can move within.
So for the
I only get the attack of opportunity if I move out of melee, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So Potom is going to move down next to Freya.
on hit.
I keep on trying to move on the wrong map. Sorry, hang on.
That's all right. I stop
Potom moves
sharing my
next to
screen
Freya.
because that's probably not helping.
No. Please keep sharing your screen. I actually like looking at that. I can look at my character card then
Oh, got it.
between rounds. It's so nice. Okay, so Potom moves next to Freya, and he places a hand on her and casts Warding Bond. The spell wards a willing. The spell wards a willing creature you touch and creates a mystic connection between you and the target until the spell ends. While the target is within 60 feet of you, it gains a +1 bonus to armor class and saving throws, and has a resistance to all damage. Also, each time it takes damage, you take the same amount of damage. Oh, yeah, no, okay. So every time that Freya takes damage, I take damage, but it gives her an armor class bonus of
An extra
+1.
point of armor class.
Cool.
Yep.
That's a
It's
cool.
harder to hit you.
Yeah, I like that.
There is a narrative dog note that I would like to make right here that we will touch on after the battle.
Okay.
And cantrips are bonus actions?
Our cantrips? No, yeah. That was
Okay. Then Potom commands the Exocomp to strike, and that's his turn.
Okay, it'll be a straight
Exocomp
roll.
will rend. Oh. Do it. 14.
14 hits.
Oh, nice. Good work. What does the...
Barely, but it does hit.
Grazes.
What? Great. We were going to take this thing out of thing. Do
You can do
1d8. 1d8 plus 3.
Of damage?
Yeah.
How do you have that much damage?
He's a big
Not that.
Andy.
Well, the plus, it's my proficiency bonus
He's a big robot.
plus a 1d8.
A robot.
Is a 7.
7 points of damage. So this creature, already staggered by Air's puncturing attack, staggers backwards, and the Exocomp strides up next to it and just blasts it in the back of the head, crushing it down to the ground where it sinks into the muck, defeated.
Easy. We need that hide.
Freya.
Is this other displacer beast technically flanked?
It.
Because Air's there?
I'm going to say this one is not flanked
Okay.
currently. If
All
you
right.
want to move around to the other side of
Yeah.
it,
Oh, yeah, I do.
I would allow that.
Yeah, I'm gonna, 1, 2, whatever, that's enough.
Yep. So roll a straight roll for your attack then.
Let's see. Sorry. There we go. Let's see. Just 1 second.
My Fae has a 90-foot range.
That's pretty good. Pop her up where
I'm going with my greatsword. Oh, there we go. 26.
That'll hit.
13, 15.
15. Nice. Asmund Kimba cries out another battle cry as your greatsword slams into the beast.
Oh god, it's unsettling, but also helps me with my blood rage.
It is right that we should challenge the fiercest beasts.
Okay, I'm going to go for it with my greatsword again. Oh, 10. Boo.
A 10 misses.
That's too bad. I'm just gonna stay there. Oh, actually, well,
Like a bonus action or something?
yeah, well, I do, but our dungeon master doesn't really like it when I use it in a weird way.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I run around it for a dash.
Pretty sure your run has to be a straight line.
No, just the 10 feet, last 10 feet has to be a straight line.
Yeah, but well, I would. I feel like I would allow, but I would force you to have to like take
If
like
you
an
wanna
attack
leave
of
it-
opportunity. Yeah.
If you want to leave its range to do that, go for it.
You know what? I should have counted up. Actually, let me just think here a second. So I went from here. So how many? 1, 2. I did about 4. So I have 4 more.
I'm going to let you do it, but I'm just telling you,
No.
to get a straight line 10-foot
to
running
the-
start,
No,
you have to
here's-
leave its attack range to do that,
Yeah.
and it's going to get an attack of opportunity.
Okay, but
That's the trade-off.
it rolls at disadvantage when I'm the eagle at attacks of opportunity. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Or I'm gonna go back 4 as my regular movement first, and then I'm gonna dash up and do another attack.
Okay, very good. First,
Okay.
it's going to make its attacks. So
Okay.
at disadvantage,
So I have 15
That
or
is-
16 for my armor class now.
10 for the first one,
Okay.
which misses, and a 9 for the second one, which already
Okay.
misses. So
Well, that's
no
good.
hits.
Now I'm gonna dash forward, and I can have. Let me remember really quick. Sorry, I know you're in a rush.
Don't feel rushed by me.
Where is it? Just so extra attack, plus movement. Where's my charger? Oh, why is it not on here? Sorry. Oh, there it is. When I use the dash action, you can use a bonus action. Yeah, I haven't used one yet to make a melee weapon attack or shove the creature. Okay.
Just want to shove it.
And
Just
so
want to
I
shove it
do.
into air.
Oh no, it's if you move at least 10 feet in a straight line before using the bonus action, you either gain a 0.5 bonus to the damage roll, or from you. Oh yeah, that's it. So a 0.5 advantage plus the 2 to a damage roll. So hopefully this hits. Okay, I'm charging right up there. And then I'm gonna roll on, I'm gonna roll on my Morning Star because it has an extra point on it. Come on. Damn it. Okay. 11.
11 misses. So with great dramatic flair, Freya
Runs backwards and
slashes-
runs forward.
slashes the displacer beast and then does a very acrobatic dodge, races off around the tree, and then charges back in and kind of whiffs.
Oh, damn it.
That happens. Pando, you're up.
Oh, wait, don't I do it at advantage? No, because they're
Nope.
displaced.
Is it my Fae first?
That's up to you. Technically, she's after you in the order, but
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
I will go first. I'm in bear form. So I am going to charge at the displacer beast.
Right?
And then
Oh, well, I did hit it, so it's not displaced.
Oh yeah, it's not displaced.
it's
So
just
you can roll
there
at
and
advantage.
Yes.
yay.
Oh, I should have been able to roll at advantage for the second. My bonus action, then, right?
Yes, but now the bear's gonna roll at
Okay,
advantage.
that's fine. That's fine. We're gonna kill this
Ooh, I
thing
got
anyway.
a natty
have
20.
Oh, natural
like
20
plus
from the
six.
bird.
damage.
But that doesn't matter.
I have a whole
So
bunch
what
of
is the
potions of
max
healing.
damage that your bird does?
So there's two. There's the bite first, and I think it's 1d8 plus 4.
Okay, so it'd be 12 plus a 1d8.
Okay. 1d8 was 4
All right, so 16 points of damage from your critical
for the bite.
for the bite, and now roll another attack at advantage for your claws.
Nine.
A 9 is gonna miss.
Okay.
The displacer beast.
All right.
Yes, sadly. So it looks like maybe Astral Elf Star Priest is gonna finish this off if she can get over there.
Hell yeah.
She can. She has 90. She's
Oh, wow.
so
Get it, babe.
mad.
She
She's
just wants
so
us done.
okay.
I am over this.
I am so effing over this. Okay, so her bonus action.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Is she at disadvantage?
not.
Advantage is just
At
regular, straight up.
advantage. She's at
Okay.
advantage.
That's a natty 20.
That's gonna do it.
Did you just what?
Two nat 20s on this
Yes.
one. So that's 12 plus 6 is 18 plus 2d6.
18 plus 2d6. 18 plus 2d6. 7 plus 18.
25.
25.
25 points of
So
damage.
much fast math.
So after
Wow.
after you surround this thing and harry it in various directions, finally Astral Elf Star Priest floats
Yay.
over and just obliterates this thing, like turns its head into a fine mist with her diffuser, and
It's
starts
amazing.
harvesting essential oils from.
I said careful with the hides.
And the displacer beasts
That's so
are
fun.
no more. So I know we need to draw this to a close. So what I think we're gonna do is we will end this session with the party sort of circling up to bandage wounds and end the 23rd day of.
Potom has one thing that he would really like to do.
Okay.
He would like to harvest the hides of the displacer beasts.
Okay. You want to get some help for that?
That would be great if somebody would like to help me.
Air would love to help in exchange for cutting the tip off one of the tentacles and keeping
No,
it.
no, no. You don't get to. No, you don't, because this is actually something that I would like to create for you.
Oh.
And as Air and Potom are harvesting the hides, Potom tries to convince Air that if we use these hides to turn it into a cloak, you could be in multiple different places when somebody attacks you.
Air is easily swayed.
Easily swayed. All right, then I want you two of you to tell me. You're gonna roll this. You're gonna roll once for each beast, and only one of you gets. Well, you can approach this however you want. So for beast number 1, either you can each roll, or one of you can roll at advantage, and you may choose between doing this as a nature check or as a sleight of hand check.
I'm thinking.
I would also allow a medicine check, I guess.
I'm thinking.
I have a
Yeah, that
+6 to nature check.
Yeah, I'm thinking that air allows Potom to roll twice.
Okay, so beast number 1, air, is going to be your surgical assistant
Scalpel.
as you
Sponge.
dig in and point out with your understanding of physiology how to take this thing apart. So roll at advantage a nature check.
Also, just for flavor, the exocomp is there, and there is an open cabinet with lots of different solvents and things on the wall, and special, what looks like specialty knives inside this cabinet that normally would be at Potom's back if he was resting there. So the exocomp is kneeled down, and there is
It's a block
there
of
are tools.
Cutco steak knives.
Yeah, exactly. There are tools
This is what I
there.
used to sell them. It's my samples left over.
I've already shown you the tomato
So-
cups. Get over here. You're gonna love this.
You know what sound that
you have a
sandwich
penny?
slicer makes? It's a B sharp, because these Cutco knives will always be sharp.
Rose.
Hey, Cutco, please sponsor us. Anyway, yeah, nature checks ×2. The first one is a 21,
It's pretty good.
and the second one is a 14.
Okay. Well, 21 is successful. With a 21, you manage to cleanly remove the only slightly damaged hide of the first displacer beast. Now you're going to tackle the second one. Same thing, unless you want to. You do it the same way. I am going to raise the DC, but if you want to do it in a different way, I'll keep the DC where it was.
Well, okay. With that understanding, I feel like Potom has definitely understood where he went wrong the first time. And is going to do the exact same thing again. 13 was the first roll. And the second, was an 11.
Darn.
So the second time was tougher, and I don't know if this is necessarily a failing of Aaron Potom, but I think Astral Elf Star Priest just really tore this thing up worse than you thought. And so when you start getting into it and taking it apart, it starts to come off in ribbons, and also the head's mostly destroyed. So
I said be careful with the hides.
But you do have one intact displacer beast hide that you can record.
Okay.
You all can also each add, do some quick math here, some experience points.
13,500.
It's not that, but you can each add 650 experience points for some of your adventuring and battling here. And when we pick back up next time, you will be heading into day 24 on the day 24 post Upido.
Dang, day 24. How is the world not blown up?
Well, you're only seeing part of the world right now.
Maybe there's actually
Apparently, Upido isn't that powerful.
Your view of the world is currently somewhat limited by the fact that you're wandering through a swamp.
Alex, do you have any idea when your potential, and I totally understand if you do not, do you have any idea when your potential next Sunday off would be?
Yes. Because I will be traveling back from Bend, Oregon, where I will have just seen the Decemberists and the Head and the Heart.
Oh yeah.
Yay!
That